you claim you're Africanist, you're going to get your mind back.
If a generalized black woman is doing this and being this, that is that is irresponsible.
No,
when you claim you're Africanist, you're going to get your mind
showing
back.
Me,
black and proud. Claim you're African, black and proud.
I think that if
when
as
you claim you're
a
Africanist, you're going to
person
get your
who
mind
has
back.
a page,
what is the status of people
claim you're
half
black and proud. I'm telling you. When you claim you're Africanist, you're going to get your mind back.
That's why I was laughing, because
I am claim you're African.
I'm not saying the framework doesn't do a thing, but
become a part of it.
We've been
embrace
forward to black men
become a
the
part
masters,
of
being
embrace
in the control. We
become a part of
it. Only
embrace it.
And those to me one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Embrace it. When you claim you're African, you're going to get your mind
that
back.
mental growth takes
Black
place.
and
You
proud.
can misled by leadership,
Black
for
and
instance,
proud.
that thinking you can consume.
When you claim you're Africanist, you're going to get your mind back. Black and proud. Claim you're African. Black and proud. I'm telling you.
Peace and power, family. Dr.
Whoa, what happened? Something happened. Peace to everybody. How y'all doing? This is
We don't know what happened.
yeah, that went out.
Okay, Dr. Dawes in the building, family. And of course, I was about to put him in the back. And so let me do that. And
Okay.
And family. So thank you, Dr. Dawes in the building. We are here again. Do all the things, conversations, Dr. Daw, Baz and Daw, whatever, we're going to talk about that today. Like we think we're going to be doing some more things together on a consistent basis. Let us know what you think. Possibly a good title of our dual breakdowns, if you got some suggested titles, or if we should come up with a theme at all, we haven't even talked about it. But nonetheless, I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited, to see what Professor Shabazz brings us today. And y'all know I'm gonna jump in there and do my thing with him. See, I'm excited to see where he takes us. And so, family, make sure you go ahead and like this video up, share this video. No matter if you're on whichever page, make sure at the end of the broadcast, if you're on the proper perspective, make sure you go from the proper perspective to Dr. Dennis R. Winkler and vice versa, leaving likes, share, your comments on both pages and all that type of thing. And we truly appreciate that. But go ahead, it's going to be a beautiful one. So you want to definitely stay for the ride. And with no further ado, family, I want to bring forth
Shabazz. Break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection. And whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective.
Peace, everybody. How y'all doing? This is your brother Shabazz coming to you live here on the Proper Perspective channel and on Dr. Dennis R. Winkler's channel, Dr. Daw. You got both of us here tonight. We doing something a little bit different. Baz and Daw breakdown, something like that. We're going to be playing with the name a little bit. Y'all can let us know what y'all think about the names, and you can give us some ideas. But we are going to be bringing down some very interesting tidbits of information, talking about some comments that people have been making on the videos, and talking about some interesting issues in the Black community. Yes, we will be dealing with some FBA nonsense. We will be dealing with some politics. So what's going on, everybody? If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to both of our channels, subscribe to The Proper Perspective here, and subscribe to Dr. Dennis R. Winkler. Both of our, if they're not in the chat, they would the links will be in the chat before the night is over. So make sure you hit all of those buttons and do all of the things that y'all know is supposed to get done when you're trying to support people on YouTube. So what's going on, Dr. Daw? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, dear, because I'm ready. You
Are
know,
you ready?
yeah. I've been. It's a Saturday. You know, I didn't have too much going on today, other than had to do a little work at the house, and then got myself together to come over here and get things in order. I'm excited. I guess we can get some shout outs. You know, JG, you made it back. You made it back, JG. You made it back in the chat. You know, just look, JG. Okay. So you were wondering what happened. You know, to me, the reason why I look, none of the moderators did it. You know, they just let you beat me up. Hey, but you know, you were co-signing a bit too much. Not necessarily co-signing, but what you were doing was playing into that mess that went on a few weeks back, with people trying to share how they think I'm supposed to run this platform here. And as I say, no, don't play games with me. I'm very aware of passive aggressive tactics, and I don't owe anybody, and we don't owe anybody more space than we determine is enough for this platform. Because as even today, Professor Shabazz and I, we are curating something, and we will not allow people to derail us, and in fact, to mischaracterize us. And you were doing a lot of planning to that, JG, and I ain't with that, especially when it comes to sisters, because that's a stain that will be on somebody's name. And I'll be honest with you, I got three sisters. And look, I don't mind getting in the ring with a sister verbally, because I got three sisters. They train me up well, you know what I mean? I mean, you don't throw no punches at me. Don't do the passive aggressive attacks. I love you, but don't mischaracterize me. So JG, stay out of those streets, because I will boot you again, you know. But you know, I appreciate you coming over here, JG. Let's give a shout out to JG11. We don't want that. We don't want those things on our names. You know what I mean? Proper perspective. Of course, he's in the building. He's in the chat. I don't know how he does it. Mr. K, what it is? Mr. K from the UK. What it be? We always appreciate you. Jadorian, what it is? I think I'm gonna get your last name, Chimoringa. Jadorian, peace and power to you, dear brother. And family. Let's see if anybody. Oh, that's all we got right now. Family, those who are watching, who are just tuning in, 22. Let's get these numbers up, family. Let's make sure we share this in the chat and get the likes up. Proper, turn it back over to you and see where you take us.
All right, what's going on? So one of the things that we wanted to try and I guess touch base on, you do your lives, you do your videos and whatnot, and people come through. Sometimes they come through and they want to, get busy in the chat. Sometimes they want to call in and whatnot. But so every now and then there are comments, and you handle your comments in various ways. Sometimes I'm debating on the video page, and sometimes what I decide to do is just, if there are some comments that strike me one way or the other, then I'm like, something, I'm gonna do a new video. I'm gonna go live and deal with some of that stuff. So that's a little bit of what we wanted to do tonight. I had quite a several different individuals trying to make points that they feel are very important. And so, for instance, there was somebody came on to one of the most recent videos that we did, and they want to talk about.
Your mic sound like it went out. I mean, I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you, but it's just not your mic direct.
Okay. Yeah, I got some gadget stuff going on. I don't know what that is, but let me see. As long as people can still hear me,
we can still hear you. It's just not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that strong anymore. I'm gonna have to check on that later. So one of the comments, somebody made some comments on my page, and they wanted to bring this into the conversation because they heard Representative Jayapal say that she was going to work towards reparations for some immigrants. And so they were like, I don't see you talking about that. Y'all always ignoring this. Y'all don't see you talking about the fact, black people we've been denied reparations, and now Jayapal is gonna give them to the immigrants. And I'm like, first off, Jayapal made her comments after the video, that we did was there. So like we can't comment on something that hasn't occurred quite yet. So that's one thing I wanted to say. But another thing that I was going to say, I was like, I went and looked at it. I had to go look it up and find it and whatnot. And I'm like, I got an issue with that. Cause I'm like, if you look at the facts, so I did look it up. And yeah, in March of 2026, Jayapal did apparently use the word reparation during a hearing, but she wasn't talking about, the reparations that we talk about. She was not talking about, what we talk about when we refer to reparations, when we refer to reparative justice, when we refer to the massive wealth building program that is owed to us because of what happened to our ancestors. That's not what she was talking about. She was talking about legal compensation for families who were separated and traumatized at the border under the Trump administration.
Who is Jayapal?
She is elected official, I want to say a congresswoman, but she's elected official, a congresswoman, and I looked it up and now I cannot remember what I think. I want to say Washington, but I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. I can't remember completely. Mm-hmm. But she is in the whole. She's a congress member.
Okay.
And they were having hearings about what was going on with the immigrants, and all of the separating of the families, and they got kids in cages and they got all this stuff going on. And I'm just like, look, you have to at least be able to separate one thing from the other. And so I'm like, in the legal world, anytime a government, does harm to a particular individual, that particular individual may be owed a settlement, may be owed some reparatory justice. And that's what Jayapal was talking about. In that legal world, they actually call it tort settlements. So it's a legal term. Now you can call it reparations if you want to, but it's actually, when you get it down on paper, it's called a tort settlement. And so just because she uses the word reparation, that doesn't mean it has something to do with the African American claim, the foundational Black American claim towards reparations. It's just, like, one of the things I wanted to say is, this may not be a popular opinion, but like, we don't own that word. We can't monopolize that word. Reparations to us means a certain thing, but that doesn't mean other groups have not been harmed and other groups aren't owed reparatory justice. But what she was talking about was literally tort claims, not the reparations that we've been talking about. So it's like, for real, it's like in some respects, it's like, but why would we talk about that? Why would we be bringing that up? Just because you heard the word reparations, well, y'all ain't talking about that. It ain't got nothing to do with us in that sense. So that was one of the things I wanted to say. But the other thing is, when you look, you go and you do the research and you look, and it's like, wait a minute. So you're mad at Jayapal because she's trying to get some tort settlements. She's trying to get some justice for the migrants, the immigrants, whatever else you want to call them.
Can you put that in context for me? Because I think I'm just kind of confused a bit. Like, okay. Who is Jayapal? Like, is she from another country? I'm trying to figure out what is their argument? Like, is it?
Well, I'm gonna look her up, and maybe I can try to share this on the screen. United States Representative Pramila Jayapal. Now, the way they write it up, she's an American politician serving as a U.S. representative from Washington's 7th congressional district since 2017. Member of the Democratic Party. She represents most of Seattle, as well as some suburban areas of King County. Now, she was born in India. 1965 is when she was born. So, she got her American citizenship in whichever way, she did. She got a husband, so maybe she got it through the marital thing. I don't know.
So what are they claiming? They claiming that basically she shouldn't use the word.
I mean, to some extent, I really do think that's I think that's what's fueling their knee-jerk reactions. But I think part of it is, like, you could be so hyper vigilant about something that every time you hear the word, you start to think, that's mine. And under the notion of it's connected to the idea, the same way that they responded to Ghana going to the UN, and their leaderless leader telling them, Ghana go get your reparations.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they heard the Jayapal clip, see, she taking our reparations.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's this idea that the money for reparations has already been set aside in the budget, and they just haven't decided when they're going to send it. And every time they get a chance to think about sending it, somebody steps up and says, oh, no, I want it instead. That's the way they think, or rather, that's the way it comes across when they jump onto anything and anybody who ever uses the word. And so I'm like, just because she used the word doesn't mean she's talking about this political movement that is attached to the Black community. At a certain point in time, when the when the Japanese Americans were thrown into the internment camps, they were saying, after they got freed and released and whatnot, we're owed reparations. They weren't stepping on the toes of the Black American cause for reparations. They were just saying, we want our reparations. So any group that feels like they've been harmed by Uncle Sam, they can stand up and say, I want my reparations for it.
I mean, because I think I'm struggling with it. Like, you're okay. So I don't get the argument. Maybe I'm not, like, this person responded to a post saying, ha ha, aha, ha ha, aha. Y'all did not respond to whatever her name is, Jayapal. Ha ha ha. So you're supposed to respond to everything that's going on, and if you leave one thing out, then you caught you. You did not jump on her and see other people are using the word reparation. Is that what's going on? Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what's going on. That is exactly what they're saying. That is exactly how they're framing it. And they do it with everything. They think it's a aha moment. Another one said, see, Biden housed Venezuelans in the Black neighborhoods at over $1 billion. The Dems did nothing for Black Americans, but you don't want to talk about that.
Dr. Daw, they say, brother, cuz what I've been reading in some of the comments is that I'm a Democratic shield.
Democratic,
And then I went and I listened earlier today to a clip someone did on their leader, and he was saying that these people are Democratic shields, and so he kind of highlighted who he calls Democratic shields. So now I see why people call me a Democratic shield, because Tariq Nasheed says people are Democratic shields.
And so, once he says it, it's got to be real. Once he says it, they just repeat it. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I don't have much. I just kind of think that when I'm listening to this, I'm not even sure. I'm just wondering if it's something that just personally is even worthy of discussion. That's just my honest thing that's going through my head right now. Like, what are they saying? Like, I mean, maybe we can educate them. Like, but that's a very fundamental way of having to educate a person. Like, aha, I caught you. You didn't say everything about everything in your 60-minute or 3-hour or 4-hour presentation. Like, aha, like you missed something. And guess what? She's American, but her lineage comes from India, and she can't use the word reparations because the only people on the earth that can use reparations are FBA. And anybody who uses the word reparation is problematic, you know. So it's like, okay, because I'm just saying, like, it's just me, like, okay, I don't know, maybe it's something deeper, and I'm willing to have that conversation. I just don't understand. Maybe I'm not reading into it strong enough, because to me is a ridiculous statement. So
again, and now here's what's funny to me, because even in the chat right now, I'm pretty sure it's the same person that made the comment on the page, but
welcome back.
The person, Troy Body, he's saying that you guys still are not addressing Jayapal asking for reparations. That's what he said. So I got that on the screen. He said what we said. Talk about Jayapal asking for reparations.
So Troy Body 666 the 2. The 666 is in there for a reason, I guess. We said what we said. Talk about Jayapal. Okay, now what do you want us to say, or what aren't we saying? Please help us understand. You're cooking a gaslighting stew. You know, hey, cuz. Honestly, I'm beginning to think Troy Body 662 is a person to throw us off. I mean, because I don't like I don't think, honestly, and please keep talking. I'm just telling you, please keep talking. I'm going to say this, but keep talking about what you want to talk about. This is just me. I don't think it's worth our time, but you keep talking about it. It's fine. I'm just saying, like Troy Body wants us to talk about it because he's not saying anything. He heard me ask the question. Until he answers the question, I don't. What is it that we should be afraid of if Jayapal, and what is this reparations that you're saying that Jayapal, this person, who is Jayapal? Because maybe you can help me out with this. Who is Jayapal asking for this tort claim or reparations for? Maybe that's going to help me make sense out of this. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up, but my understanding, and Troy Body, you can throw some stuff in the chat if you have way more information than what we're saying. But my understanding is that she was addressing, like she's sitting on like a committee that, you know, all of the representatives, they get thrown onto these different committees and they investigate different things, whatever the purview of the committee is. But she was addressing the immigration problem. So in part of the migration or the immigration problem in Trump's and ICE taking people and, you know, against their will and against the law, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, obviously, if you're a MAGA, you don't think it's against the law. If you're not MAGA, you really think what they're doing is against the law. And she was saying, when all of the smoke clears, we're going to have to talk about reparatory justice. We're going to have to talk about fixing the stuff that has been broken. And we're going to have to talk about reparations, some money that's going to be owed to these people whose rights have been violated. Now, that's my understanding of how she said it. Now, I can try to pull it up. Comments, because I thought I had them earlier, but... What is it, a video? Yeah, I think it's like a 24-second video clip. If you have it, you can always put it, you can rock off, cuz, and if you want, you can give me the link and I can play it. Is it YouTube? It's this one is on Facebook. Let me see if I share screen and see if it. Okay, so this should do it. If this don't, then I can send you the link. But can y'all see that? Okay, yeah, we can. I can see it. All right, now let me hit play.
Around then we also need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability, because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created. And we are going to have some form of reparation. Then we also need.
Okay. So now I'm assuming everybody can hear that.
Okay. Who are the people?
Oh, that was the comment. Did y'all, if people heard it in the chat, then they, you know, drop a 1 if you heard it, drop a 2 if you didn't. But essentially, that's what she's talking about. What is the ongoing ICE problem? And she's saying that it's so bad that once we get a handle on it, we're going to owe those people reparations, some form of reparations.
Now that makes sense to me. So, okay, we're there. We're there. So, FBA, of course, and MAGA, their daddy, mommy, their parental group, MAGA, anti-immigrant or migrant. I think we have to start with that. They don't believe that they should be in this country in the first place. Right. And they believe that they should be deported. So I get it now. If you believe that immigrants, no matter their hue, their racial category, their ethnicity, aren't supposed to be here, and now Jayapal is speaking to this idea that it's such a bad situation with these ICE workers that if things don't change, they're going to have to pay these people who are being hurt by this some settlement. And so I get it. That is diametrically oppositional to what MAGA and its child group FBA would agree with. So that makes sense to me. And so I think that it just depends on now your idea and my idea about who deserves. I mean, about our what our beliefs are on reparations. It just kind of depends on if I agree. I mean, migrant immigrants from different places. Like, do I believe that they all need to be deported? Do I agree with this ICE procedure and process and all these type of things? So I think it's bigger than whether or not this person wants us to speak on this. I think this person really wants us to say that these people who are migrants don't deserve reparations and won't deserve reparations. And I wouldn't even say that. I think that I wouldn't say if you hurt people and there's people who are being unjustly hurt, and even people being hurt in the process, depending on what this is speaking about, that are being hurt who are actually quote unquote American citizens. So I would imagine this is a very complex conversation. And if people are being hurt and they're not following the law, because Trump is doing he's taking a very aggressive approach with this. So I would imagine a lot of people are saying it's unconstitutional. So if it's unconstitutional, people being hurt in the process, yeah, I mean, I hear what she's saying, but that has nothing to do with our claim.
Right. But that was part of my point was, if you are so fixated on the word, then every time you hear the word, you just start going off. And so it comes across as if you are policing the word. You are monopolizing the word. We're the only ones that can use it. And so what I'm saying is, and what I'm saying to Troy Body is, whether or not you agree with Jayapal's comments really has no bearing on how you feel, what you think, what you want as far as your own reparations. Black people can say, we are owed reparations, we deserve reparations, we need to get our reparations. That has nothing to do with whether or not the immigrants who've been harmed by ICE are owed reparations. Like, you can't have this thing where it's like, nope, only us, just us. Now you can say, well, I think we should get it first. And okay, you can say that, but you can't say nobody else gets it unless I get it. Because you're not the only harmed party by Uncle Sam. You're not the only injured party by Uncle Sam.
Right.
Now, you want to be the first to get it, then you need to do things and take steps in order to get it. But just saying, everybody else shut up, that's not going to get you your check before they get theirs. Everybody else is going to say, I need to contact my congressman. I need to contact my senator. I need to write letters. I need to join an organization. I need to form something. And FBA says, we don't need no organization. We don't need no leader. We don't need to join nothing. We just need to say it's a moral claim. There's something wrong with the logic of that, because the Black people have been saying it's a moral claim since the Emancipation Proclamation was signed.
Yeah. I mean, and I can't think of the place in Alabama where there were Black communities, but one of my colleagues, Dr. Max T. Ragland, he speaks about this, I think it's Anniston, Alabama, or somewhere like that, where he's from, and I'll look it up. But there are people that are like, that look like you and me, of African descent, communities that have also received reparative justice. You know, so it's not like people won't get some form of reparation between now and the time where we may get reparations as descendants of enslaved people here in this country, if we ever get it. Now, there's plenty of people who have gotten reparations from this country due to maltreatment. But I do get this person's argument, and again, I don't know if I agree with it. I don't typically take my time and look at, and I'm curious what, I don't take my time and study everything. I have a very intentional fight that I'm fighting when I come on here, so I'm not sure what video they're responding to. I'm not sure if it's a video that's particularly on your page or on both, something we did together or what have you. Like, I typically don't speak about reparations that much. I do speak about reparations in a sense, but my fight is about this identity category that FBA has tried to superimpose on, as I heard Tariq Nasheed say earlier, 49 million Black people in America, which is, and also their ancestry, which is a form of undue influence, a form of mind control, a form of rewriting history, in a form of rewriting history, and also a form of manipulation to create division within our community. Now, in reparations, if I really want to speak about it, has been a carrot. It has been it's a factor that is used to incite emotions in our people. So what am I saying? I'm saying I don't believe that they care about reparations per se. Maybe the people who he pulls in with reparations and reparatory justice claims, because reparations from my thoughts are being used as a way to incite Black people in America and to say that other people are going to get your reparations. I was listening to a video today my sister sent to me. It was a very powerful video. They said it was a 61-year-old FBA lady who spoke about, and she spoke very eloquently, and she spoke from her heart. And I could see that she truly, truly, truly believed that immigrants, Black immigrants more specifically, are coming here and trying to take reparations and trying to get that money. Now, interestingly, if you really think about it, I think that like the fight has been exaggerated. Even if you look at it, like look, let's say Pan-Africanists want all Black people in America to get reparatory justice, right? And we're talking about 10% of that group. Let's say they got it. Like, okay, but at the end of the day, I think it's a far shot to even get it. I'm just going to keep it a buck. And I also think that reparations has been used as fuel on the fire of FBA rhetoric, FBA ideology, FBA doctrine, FBA flame throwing. So reparations is used in a way to create a them against us type of thing. So my thought, my approach to this conversation has always been that FBA is an ideological, a developing ideological framework for a group of people who identify as FBA. Now, so reparations for me, I'm not stupid enough to believe that other people won't get reparations of sorts. I mean, there's people who get all types of reparatory justice every day. There's people on an individual level and on community levels that get reparation or repair. There's people who've been harmed within our communities or as individuals within a community that receive repair. Everything from lead paint to lead in the pipes to all types of things that people know about. So what I'm saying is, I think that Troy Body, let's see what Troy Body is saying. You are professors, but call poor Black American stupid. I don't know what he's talking about. But
Troy is in his feelings.
Let's see if because has he said anything as I was speaking that requires us to respond to though?
Troy is at one point I thought he was trying to make something but here's the thing. He's going into this whole pro-America thing. And it is there. It's exactly what you were saying. It's the carrot on the stick, but it's the MAGA mind, that they use. Now I don't know who Troy is, but those influences, they use reparations to pull you in, but then they want you to focus on defending America. And so Troy is going on in the chat about as soon as either of us said anything quote unquote positive towards immigrants getting repaid for damages done to them. So you're trying to give the immigrants money? What about America? You're turning your back on America. America first. America first. And another guy. So you're down for giving illegal immigrants reparations. Again, so you're crying about a people. You start off crying about somebody else getting reparations, and then you move into this whole, you're trying to defend Uncle Sam and you're trying to protect his budget. And I'm like, this is I don't know. This is the cult. The problem with the mega mind. Again, if you're an FBA or not an FBA, whether you align with their ideology or not, if you think that the idea of getting reparations for Black people is important, then you have a responsibility to stay focused on getting reparations for Black people, not policing other groups who have been harmed. I don't care if they're citizens or non-citizens. If the US government hurts a group of people, and there's something in the literature that says those group of people have a right to request monetary recompense, then they get it, or they have the right to pursue it, just like Black people do. Now, how you pursue it, that's the biggest problem that I have with the FBA folk is they swear they want reparations and they do nothing to work towards reparations, but they do everything to fight anybody else who thinks that they are owed reparations. That's not how you get it. So as far as that's concerned, like, no, I don't see I don't know where. And Troy Body, he may have disappeared now because it looks like some of his comments are just being overrun by other people. Beat Active says basically reparations is another word for a lawsuit. Yeah. And so it's like trying to tell people, it's trying to like tell some other people you don't have a right to sue.
Yeah. I know that I'm, sometimes I hold myself to a high standard of research, but I'm going to do what everybody else does at this point, and I'm going to give a disclaimer that this is just a quick AI Google search, okay? And that doesn't mean that we don't sift through it, but this is a quick AI Google search just to give some context to what I'm speaking to. So, who have the USA government paid reparations to? AI overview. The government has paid reparation or compensation to several groups for historical injustices, most notably 1.5 billion to Japanese Americans interned during World War II. Other significant payments include over 1 billion to Native American tribes for land seizure and 10 million to victims of the Tuskegee syphilis study. So at Lewitt residents, 1988, reparations were paid to, how do you say that, cuz? Unangans?
It's hard for me to see. There we go. Unagons?
That sounds about right. Unagons for internment in Alaska. Is it bigger now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. In Alaska. Of course, slave owners in 1862, right? Other forms of government compensation, 911 victim families, compensation was paid through dedicated federal funds, victim of radiation, pesticides, compensation for government-linked exposure, Cold War victims. So the point is, you're not going to stop people from getting reparations while you're in pursuit of yours, which is a much more difficult and much more complex fight due to racism first and foremost. And also there's other things like time factors and people buying in, like the citizens of this country. and I really struggle with this idea, like why, like the ignorance of the hate that went down when the Ghanaian president came here. And again, I'm not the expert in this thing. You could probably be way more strategic and specific than I am, but the fact that they had such a problem after Dr. Myatt went over the resolutions, and the resolutions as written is very clear that it said it also speaks to reparatory justice being in different locations in these territories needing to pay for the harm that they cause to African descendant people.
Right.
So, and they lost their minds. They lost their minds when, and of course, there's a lack of reading things because the psyops is real. The psyops is real. The mind control is real. The undue influence is real.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything that seems like is a threat is a threat if Tariq Nasheed doesn't do it. Is a threat
Right.
if those who you consider FBA didn't do it. But I was listening and I was listening to even Dr. Malana Karenga on last evening, and it was a pretty powerful show. Please go and watch the show. And Dr. Karenga was speaking about this. We have to be clear that what was brought forth to the UN was a result of a unified Pan-African response, including those here in the US. Those of us historically up to now who have fought and say we need and we deserve reparations. So those African Americans who they want to usurp and call FBA, those Pan-Africanists, or those who at least have taken a Pan-African approach to reparations, is responsible and have been a part of the fight the entire time. So I'll turn it back over to you.
No, you're right. Again, sometimes I just have to step away, because the more and more you see and you see how they are influenced by Tariq, just it's like, okay, y'all are too far gone, so far down the rabbit hole that we can't bring you back up to reality. But a couple of things I wanted to, again, like at least try to address. Like somebody in the chat said that, what did they say? They said, just hold, where was it? I just saw it. Let me see. Again, let's at least try to make this clear, because they're saying, how come you're not like, look, at least me personally, I believe that we are owed reparations, and I've said this over and over again. Maybe some of the people is just getting here and they're not really, they weren't paying attention like 5 minutes ago or whatever. But like, even when you read the thing off of Google, we're not denying that Black people are owed reparations. That's not what is at issue here. What is at issue is, to some extent, we are not the only people that's owed reparations. And so, like, what is this? Mimi's dreams, where descendants of Black American slaves are owed reparations, even the Japanese got it. We know this. We know all of this. Somebody else with Hood Steve Arelli says that if the country fails, then we can't get reparations. And that ain't even true. And I think Mr. K pointed out, Germany failed, but they still paid. They still paid reparations to all of the Ashkenazi that they owed to, even though they failed. Their economy collapsed. The country was taken over, and they still paid. All those people got their money. So you don't have to root for America to win and still root for and hope that you get your reparations check. It just doesn't work that way.
Hey, cuz, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, the country fell and might be a form of reparations. I mean, it just depends on what the failure looks like.
Exactly.
The country fell doesn't mean we have to fail. Exactly. If we pull ourselves together. So I mean,
and again, like, sometimes it's like, I like to just air out some of these comments just to try and understand where people's minds are. Because Hood Sturvelli still says, don't we pay taxes? It's our budget. It's our budget too, me. And I'm like, okay, are you mad that our taxes go to Ukraine? Because I don't hear you complaining about that. Are you mad that our taxes go to Isn't Real? Because I don't hear you complaining about that. You only complaining when you see another melanated person might get some money. But all of these white groups that they put the money in the budget. At the beginning of every fiscal year, they say, whatever we do, we got to give some billions to Ukraine. But FBA don't complain about that. Whatever we do, we got to give some billions to Israel. But FBA don't complain about that.
You know, I don't think we actually, and follow me on this, and okay. I love debate, so I don't really think that we're owed anything.
Okay. Well, okay.
I think that if you compare us in our harm to others who have been paid, we definitely are due. If all things equal, we're owed. If you want to go with that, we should get more. You know what I mean? But what I mean by this, I don't really think that I see this country as really being in favor of us. We are the number one enemies to this country as it relates to their ideology. They don't want to repair us. Like, I think we have to fight for what it is that we receive and that we demand. Like, I don't think like we're old. Like, no, I don't think we're old. I think you have to fight. There's no owed nothing. It's like you have to fight for yours. Like I mean, I just don't like the words. I think I'm saying the same thing, but just in a different way. I'm talking about, like, I don't think no one owes you shit. Excuse my language. Like, I think that morally we deserve, if everybody had the same morals and all that type of thing, yeah, it'll be right. It'll be just.
Right.
But it's just something about saying we owe a thing that don't sit well with me. And I know it's semantics, but I think it does something to our mind when we think that we're like, it makes us sometimes. I think we think that this system is fair. Like, we're owed. No, they're not fair. Right. They don't owe us shit from their perspective. Right. You are their slaves. You are their property. You are the ones that they use beside the mules. And you're not that far from that. Look, they got reparations for freeing you.
Right.
I mean, I just don't think we're that far removed from this war. You know, I just don't think so. You know, now, do I think that it'll be nice? And do I think that that if all things equal and people are moral beings and all that, yeah, we shouldn't even gone through the process in the first place.
Right.
But nobody owes you shit. Excuse my language. Nobody. You got to take it.
Right.
You have to demand it. You have to fight for it. Nobody owes you nothing.
I agree with you.
And I would argue. Go ahead, cuz. What'd you say?
No, go ahead. I agree with you.
And I would argue, with the little bit of information I have and the people I've consulted with, that the international approach seems more realistic. And I think that brings some weight. Like, why? Like, even if people in Ghana are, you know, everybody, you know, whatever it is, we have to fight for it. And I think the collective approach, the international approach, is the best approach. That's where I'm leaning now. And what I mean by that doesn't mean that the international doesn't also suggest that, you know, we're going to fight together to make sure in these different locations we receive and you receive
right
what's due to you.
Right.
But I understand that we have to fight for that. And I think now from where I am now, I think we do that collectively. I see no harm in that, especially the way it's been written up in the resolutions. Because if they read the resolutions, they would see that the resolutions actually, to some degree, supports what they're asking for, not detracting from it. It actually empowers it.
Right. Well, I don't think they want to read the resolutions, but that could be bias. So I will say, I think that they have a hard time shifting through what the resolution says and what their leaders tell them. Now, their leaders are telling them that the resolution means somebody taking your money. Their leaders tell them. Their leaders told them that Donald Trump wants to give you reparations, but he had to say no because Ghana asked. And that's what they believe. They didn't go look. They didn't go read. They believed the leader who said Donald Trump wants to give you reparations, but he can't because Ghana is in the way. Okay, well, I can't. Yeah, okay. Did you just enter the reparations conversation yesterday? Like, so you have no knowledge about how long this thing has been kicked around in America alone. So I understand why you say it makes more sense to fight for it collectively, because if you say it's better to fight for it in America only, then you have to understand that Black people have been fighting for it in America only for over 100 years. Every generation, there have been a number of people working through a number of organizations trying to get it. And the UN was silent, and the rest of the world was like, that's y'all business. And it was Malcolm X that said, we got to get it outside of America because Uncle Sam just gonna always say no.
Yes, sir.
And so the notion that Trump would give it to you if Ghana would just be quiet, the notion that Republicans will give it to you because the Democrats ain't did nothing in 60 years. Like, I could agree with you that the Democrats have not answered the call.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to say it this way. The Democrats, every time you make the call for reparations, the Democrats pick up the phone and say, we can talk about it. The Republicans pick up the phone and said, no, click up. Now, if you would rather continue calling the person that says, hello, no, click up, as opposed to the person that says, yeah, we can talk about it, meet me on such and such. Pick your battles, go do your delineation, and you go over there and see what you can get. The rest of us will either continue working, trying to hammer down the Democrats, or work with the international community to figure out how we can get to the next level.
Right.
And that international push was done. It wasn't just Ghana. It was done at the behest. It included CARICOM for the Caribbeans. It included the Congressional Black Caucus for African Americans, although the FBA don't like the Congressional Black Caucus. But again, they backed themselves up into this corner. Every Black organization in America that's working for it, they vilify.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, is Tariq gonna help you get it? No, because he ain't no leader. Well, how are you gonna get it?
Yeah. It's a part of the. It's sad, it's really saddening to me to see my people under such a spell. And I say this because, I know a lot of people don't like me speaking about them being under a spell because they want me to just think that they are just just evil or something. And I know that our people aren't just evil. They're being misguided and misled by a charlatan and his posse. And so this individualistic type of approach plays into the fear tactic, the black and white thinking that is created as a result of the fear tactic. You have those against us. I just have to continue to say that. And when people have been harmed, abused, minimized, hurt, you have people like, and I'm going to continue to say his name. As much as y'all come in my chat and say I shouldn't, I will continue, and hopefully you keep coming back. Tariq Nasheed and his posse are misleading our people, and I say that, and some people are saying like, so why talk about this? You know what I mean? Like, why talk about this? You know, it's a waste. You know, let me get with that. This is a comment I want to talk about, cuz.
Okay.
And I throw it back to you.
Okay.
You're wasting your time. Our people want, like, you're wasting your time. Let's say that. I'm not wasting my time talking to my people. I'm not wasting my time fighting for my people. I'm not wasting my time trying to wake up my people. You're wasting your time thinking I'm going to stop. You're wasting your time to think that you and I have the same capacity. You're wasting your time writing the comment. I appreciate it. It helps in the comments, in the thread. And a lot of times it's those of us in the Pan-African community. I mean, I'm going to be honest, they're not really real Pan-African community. They're kind of like people kind of like, just like the idea of putting the accoutrements and the gear on and things like that. Like, why that, you know, like, they're not really doing the things. And to me, this is a form of advocacy. This is social media advocacy, because our people are on social media. Right. And I see this from a psychological standpoint, that Tariq Nasheed and all the others, the Dane Callaways and all the rest of them of the world, are frauds. And they are manipulating our people. So to me, this is internet cult busting. This is internet cult busting. I want to scream as loud as I can, and I will continue to scream as loud as I can, that FBA have some beautiful brothers and sisters in it that are being manipulated within this cult. And I understand that some people don't realize it's a cult, and those in it feel offended by me saying this, and I'm sorry that I offend you. I would do what many people say. I'll pray for you that one day you get what I'm saying. I pray for you that one day something hits you. And I also see this as a process. I don't see this as a one time and people just kind of wake up. Again, waking up is a process. So again, that's why I try my best not to beat up on people. I try my best not to call people stupid and all those other things, you know, as it pertains to those who are over there. Because again, like I'm saying, and people say, well, they're the bottom of the barrel and all that. I see those comments inside the chat, and I don't believe that. And the research shows that people from all different spheres are easily manipulated. In fact, it shows that people who are very intelligent, with high levels of intelligence, are at times more easily, how do I say the word? Hold on. Are more likely to be manipulated. Are more likely to be manipulated due to that intelligence. due to their creativity, due to their ability to see things with their imagination. And also people who are often manipulated, they could be very smart people, but when you're going through stressful situations and transitions in your life, you're easy to be manipulated. So people are going through all types of things in their lives. So it has nothing to do with people being stupid. It has everything to do with people mental states where they are at the current moment. So do I see FBA people or my family members that's over there subscribing to that as stupid? No. There's very intelligent people over there. So intelligent that they out intelligize themselves. Sometimes people are so intelligent that they'll make themselves believe a thing. That's what I'm talking about. So again, but when you are operating from a place of threat, you see things in a very black and white sense. There's many people who are very intelligent that believe this foolishness and believe all types of foolishness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I had said this before. Like it is. It is hard for me to see them as no. I mean, I do get it. It's hard for me to see them as the victims, but at the same time, I understand that a lot of them have been misled. I would not be. I don't agree with like necessarily calling them. I don't try to disparage them. I'll say it that way. Now I may disparage the comments. I may call a couple of comments stupid.
Me too.
But I'm not trying to call the person themselves, stupid. But I mean, we can all make stupid statements. I wanted to, and maybe not tonight. I did see one comment from Troy Body that I thought was at least interesting. It may not necessarily be something that we can really unpack tonight, but in what might be a good faith effort, he said that this is not about Tariq. It's about those poor Black Americans in Chicago whose schools don't get funding. They never got to learn chemistry. And then he said something else about, and then all the chemistry jobs went overseas or whatever. And I'm like, I get that point. Here's when you get to a point where it's like, okay, we can talk about the poor funding of American schools. We can talk about how that hurts Black Americans even more than it does other Americans. And that is something that needs to be addressed. Now, how you address it, here's when I go from, here's when I go from, okay, now we got the brain activated to now. If you feel like the best way to address it, or the only way to address it is kick out the immigrants, then you lost me. If you feel like the best way or the only way to address it is to support the Republicans, then you lost me. Like, how do you want to address, and specifically, this is Troy Body, if you're still here, because I saw you put that in there not that long ago. So you put that in there about, for some reason, they think that if we support another group getting reparations, or if we support whichever party that they don't, then that means you can't be trying to fight to improve the community that we are part of. Like that just, and I don't understand what, if I'm stepping away from, you're a MAGA minion, then I would like for you to say something in the chat about how you want to improve the funding for schools, because schools get funded in very specific ways. They're not necessarily the best ways, especially in this country, but you have to go through very specific channels in order to get any funding for a school, or to get it changed to a better better structure. But that has nothing to do with what Tariq Nasheed is telling you to do.
Yeah, it's this minority. It's kind of like the, what is it called? The I can't think of the word at this moment, but it's almost like the token minority. You think of the term, the Asians are the, what do they call them? The I can't think of the term. Y'all help me out. But they are looked at as the minority that is.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the token minority. I think that is what they call it.
It's
a model minority.
Yeah, something minority. Like that. The model minority, right? And when we get confused often due to how they play us against one another. It's so crazy that even though Asian people are seen as the model minority, that there's so many other Asians that have to pay the consequences for that model status. Because there's so many poor Asians in this country, and those with lack of education that get overlooked because they are seen as one group. I'm just saying we need to learn to look at this thing with nuance and know how we're being played against one another. In fact, our own brothers and sisters, there's so many lies out here. This whole model minority, the school system. I mean, in reality, this school system is very unfair. In reality, this system is very unfair. But you're not fighting the system. And that's the problem. Right. You're not fighting the system. You're fighting to actually undergird and be a part of this system. You're not fighting this system. You're fighting to strengthen this system. You're fighting to strengthen our minority, well, not our minority status, but all the things that have us being the most oppressed. I can't even say hardly, most, let's say really oppressed in this country, because we often forget about those who are really the indigenous people to these lands, and how they have been oppressed in this country in ways that are different than our own. And I know you think you were those people, but you aren't those people. You're not. I'm not saying you don't have any family members that have indigenous ancestry and all of that, but they weren't the people that look like you right now. You have a percentage at best within your DNA. They didn't look like you. I'm sorry. For the most part, they didn't. They are a different ethnic group. But those people were hurt. There's so much hurt and pain in this country. But specifically our group, we've been hurt. And you think that by undergirding, and you're not undergirding nothing because they're not going to allow you to do it. Let's keep that clear. You think that you believe in make America great again. I mean, like, that is what FBA Junior MAGA believes. You believe that somehow if you find closer position or positionality or proximity to whiteness, or AKA Americanness, that somehow you will come up. Your slave owners will not give you position in that way. Your group of people are diametric. You're all the way on the other side. And there's people in between, You know, the darker in the dark, the hue of your skin is not even it. It's just your race, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that hue doesn't matter, but we know we got a lot of light-skinned oppressed people that just as light as them, but have to deal with oppression, the oppression of being black. So if you think that somehow your best fight is in joining them, I'm sorry to say that is a fantasy. That is fallacious. That is foolish. That is fanciful. You believe that somehow this, like you want to blame it on you want to blame it on an immigrant. You want to blame it on someone who doesn't have the power. You literally want to blame it on the immigration patterns, rather than like our jobs are being taken away. Blame it on the immigrants. Our schools are not educating. Blame it on the immigrants. And in fact, those immigrants that you're talking about, most of them aren't even being properly educated, properly fed, properly housed. But blame it on the immigrants. They're taking our jobs. They're taking the black jobs. But you're not blaming it on the person who gave the job away. Like that immigrant who you're upset that you're no longer the top slave. Like, what are we talking about here? You're upset that someone else has taken even positions that you don't want to take. You're upset. I know my father-in-law, when he came here from Jamaica, he worked on an apple orchard or apple farm with these tall ladders that he told me about. I don't know how many of us really want to do that. In fact, that's somewhat, to some degree, modern day slavery. So what I'm saying is, there's people who are taking, let's say they give them more executive jobs and roles and things like that. But again, who gave them the job? You are fighting for your placement within a toxic system and blaming the people that are being played against one another. You are upset that you're not the model minority. The model minority doesn't work for us. Look, it will never work for us because we are not the model. This way the system is set up is that we are the lowest realm of minority. You ain't going to rise to a level, I'm talking about black people, to be equal with those other minorities. I'm sorry, they ain't going to do it. You have to fight for everything and understand this system will never reward you to overthrow it. This system will never reward you to replace them. I think Dr. Malana Karenga was saying yesterday on Dr. Mayat's show that was I looking at something else? I think it was Dr. Malana Karenga. I can't remember. Let me not quote Dr. Malana Karenga. But I think I heard somewhere, someone said if they really paid out all that you believe that you're owed, they all will go bankrupt. Yeah. Do you really think this country is really do you think that reparations, do you really think they want to help liberate you and your community when they benefit from your oppression? Like, we really have to think here. Those like Tariq Nasheed benefit from oppressing you on a sub-level. He's telling you that Pan-Africanism is a dream, and you saw Pan-Africanism in practice in so many more ways And your number one fight here in America is reparations, FBA. And I don't see that. I don't see your approach being realistic and being way more of a dream because there's no reality. You haven't done it. You haven't done it. You don't have any evidence of doing it. But our greatest leaders have been Pan-Africanists. In fact, you try to FBA size them. You try to FBAize them. You try to FBAize anybody, the people who are posthumously or posthumously, you try to FBAize people that have done great work in our communities, people who fought for us, fought for our justice and rights and all that type of thing. You try to FBAize those like King. You like the FBA those like FBAize those like Fannie Lou Hamer and so all the different people. They're not FBA family. FBA is a small cult. It's subgroup at best. It's a small group of people who are afraid. It's a group of people who believe that they're going to gain proximity to master. It's a group of people who blame other oppressed people rather than the system itself. And the fact is, you're not even blaming other oppressed people that don't look like you. You're oppressing other people that look like you. I don't agree with Tariq. This is what I don't agree with Tariq down talking Marcus Garvey too. Yeah, and I'm hoping that he continues to put his foot or both of his feet in his mouth. Because I'm gonna turn it back over to you, but it's ridiculous though to blame oppressed people for getting hired. It's ridiculous to blame oppressed people for whatever they receive and not blame the people who gave it to them. Right. Because the people who, if they gave it to them because they wanted to keep you down. Just like when you go and get your reparations, there's going to be people that are going, you're not getting that reparations that way. Let me just be clear. But let's say hypothetically, you get your reparations. Family, thumb up this video, like this video, share, and all that type of thing. But let's say you get your reparations the way that you say you're going to get them. There's going to be people that don't get those reparations. It's not really going to change our position in this country, nonetheless. But what I am saying is those people, other people are going to blame, they probably going to look at you some kind of way and blame you for getting something that they're going to blame you. But you're going to say, well, it doesn't matter because we are the foundation here. And I get that. But the reality is, I'm going to turn it over because I just want to kind of like conceptualize this clearly. No, you the reality is to blame other people. Let me break it down. You at work, you have a job. You getting paid good. You getting paid $70 an hour because you've been there for 20 years. You know, you got good benefits. Then what they do, they begin to outsource to staffing agencies. They start to pay the staffing agency $50 an hour or $70 an hour or more, maybe $100 an hour, but they don't have to pay them the benefits and all the other things that come with it. So in other words, they are kicking out less overall. And now they begin to hire these people from these staffing agencies and they start to come in and start taking your job. Now you're getting laid off, fired and all the things. And you're now blaming those people who just wanted a job for the reason why you don't have a job versus the people at the top who control who has the job in the first place. Make that make sense. That is what we're doing. That's what FBA is doing on another level.
True that, indeed. You know, I was gonna try to veggie back on some of what you said, but again, this idea that the question I keep trying to pose to the FBA advocates is like I'm trying to ride with y'all about this reparations thing. I keep trying to ask the question, and they're not really all that responsive when you ask a substantive question in the chat, is how do you plan to get it? Because all you keep putting in the chat is negative comments about different groups of people. And I'm like, you know, whether I disagree with your hatred, but put that to the side. Even if I wanted to ride the hate train with you, you're still not answering the question. Like, how is Tariq helping you get the reparations movement going? Is the question I keep trying to ask everybody, and that is an FBA advocate in this chat. But I may switch up just a little bit, because one of the other comments that somebody made, and it's sort of related to this whole thing. One of the other comments that somebody made on the last video was, they said Biden housed Venezuelans in the black neighborhoods at over $1 billion. The Democrats did nothing for black Americans.
Say that again.
And I'm like, they said Biden housed Venezuelans in the in black neighborhoods at over $1 billion. They said the Democrats did nothing for black Americans. And so I'm like, okay, well, I take issue with the Democrats did nothing for black Americans. That seems to be like grotesquely ignorant. But if I don't, you know, I'm not going to sit on just that one thing. I'm like, well, I would even go so far as to agree. I'm like, yeah, you know, over $1 billion was spent on this so-called migrant crisis. But if you understand, like, you have to understand how governments work. So if you look at where the money came from, they moved money, or they spent money out of what's called the emergency disaster relief funds. That's money that, again, at the beginning of every fiscal budget, they set aside money for unforeseen things just in case. So that money is like a fire extinguisher that you just got sitting on the wall just in case there's a fire. And you hope you never have to use it. Well, the migrant crisis was the fire. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree that they should be here or not, whether you agree that they should be removed or not, the fact is that they're here, and their presence was a crisis. But what we need to talk about, what we need to understand, is why are they here and why is it a crisis? We need to talk about who created the crisis and whose money was used. So the fact that, okay, they're in these quote unquote black cities. Let's not forget that it was Republican governors in Texas, in Florida, that spent hundreds of millions of tax dollars, US tax dollars, your foundational black American tax dollars. That's the money that was initially spent. That's the money that could have been for your American reparations check. But they don't complain about that. Again, like you said with the example about being on the job, they complain about the people getting the job, people getting the check. They're not complaining about the people cutting the checks. So at a minimum, state level social welfare type programs, not welfare, so social programs that what do they call them? Safety nets. That's the money that was used. And those Republican governors, they spent those billions. No, I'm sorry, they spent those millions to pay for buses and airplane tickets to put all of those migrants on buses and planes and ship them to these so-called black cities. So they purposely shipped thousands of people to Chicago, to DC, to New York. They gave nobody any warnings. So just one morning, people were looking up and there's 15 buses on Broad Street, on Main Street, filled with folk. Now, the Republicans didn't do this to help anyone. They did this to manufacture a disaster. They did it to manufacture a disaster in the democratic, the so-called black cities, knowing it would force those cities to trigger emergency relief funds. But they don't want to complain about that. They want to complain about the people got emergency relief funds. So you complain about $1 billion being spent in your neighborhood, but you don't complain about the fact that it's the Republicans that set the fire, and then complain, and then they themselves started to complain about the cost of water used to put out the fire. But why are you mad at the Democrats for reacting to the disaster? But you're silent about the Republicans who did nothing. They did nothing to help that so-called crisis, but they did nothing to help Black Americans. They used the tax dollars to stage the political crisis. So that's your reparations money that you say only America can give you. But they're the ones that spent millions of dollars on something.
But I mean, you know, you're pretty smart. So you gotta, sometimes you gotta break these things down into like, I just want to know, again, I have to know the context and the relevance of these arguments. So I'm trying to figure out, so they're saying that to say what? Like, what is the point? I got to know the point, because I can't, I got to know the point. What are they saying?
What it is, I think the overarching point is, to some extent, what they're saying is, you're not talking about the right stuff. You know, just like they were saying, you know, whatever we talk about, you missed the point. That's not what I mean. That's not what I'm saying. So they're like, again, this was another comment that was placed on there. And I'm trying to remember. I remember the comment. I'm just trying to remember like what was going on in the video when they made it or not.
Is one of your videos?
I think it was one of the dual videos. And it's just that I should have, I had the screenshot, but I didn't have this, but I had a screenshot of the comment. So I didn't have like what video it came from. So that's why I can't go back and find it. But because I haven't even, because it was what I'm saying, because like this was not something that I haven't covered this type of a topic on any of my videos. But I think it's just something that came up in the midst of another conversation. But there, you know, it speaks to the whole. I think what they're trying to say is we are defending the wrong people. You know, like you're not like we're not standing up for Black people because we're just riding with whatever the Democrats do or something like that.
Who is we?
Whoever, like, because I can't remember, like it was either, I know it was, I'm almost certain it was one of the dual videos we did, but I'm not sure if it was the one with
we is you and I.
Yeah.
You and me.
I'm not sure if it was the one with the brother from the UNIA or the one before that, and now my memory is getting bad. So
I just want to be clear. Okay. Now, I don't give, like, personally myself, me. I don't really give either one of those parties any love.
Mhm.
I don't. Like, so for me, it's not again, I got to go back to what King and Malcolm and others who spoke about these two parties. I don't have much faith in either of these parties. Again, to me, I'm not fighting the parties. Like, again, to me, I see this is a systemic issue, and all the parties involved are a part of the problem. I don't see any revolutionaries in the Democratic Party. I don't get caught up with that. I just don't. I mean, good. You gave me a Band-Aid. It's okay, and I'll take the Band-Aid at times.
Right.
But I just want to be, I don't really see any, I don't think the Democratic Party is going to save us. I just don't. I mean, I think they might make it feel better. I'm not under any illusion. So I don't I think they're all tricky. I don't trust none of them. And when I sit back and I heard Kamala when she was running for president, she switched up. So it's kind of like, why? I don't care. Like, Kamala was trying to be the border czar, even when she was trying to get. I don't believe none of them. So what I'm saying is, they're all chumps. Nobody in there is revolutionary to me. I don't like. I get it. Like, well, some people say you got to do it this way. I don't believe in none of them. I am not saying that you don't have to work with them, and I'm not saying that that people, especially on local levels and even federal, that doesn't need to be some resistance to them. People when they're doing the work inside and all that type of thing. There's some good people doing that work. But again, I'm not confused that the Democratic Party is going to save us. I don't think they are. I know they won't. I know the Democratic Party, and I know they won't. And they might be responding, and perhaps they are responding. They're responding to each other. They are. And like the money for Venezuela, what does that have to do with me? Like, Venezuela, I don't like. They put money in all types of things, and you want to pull out immigrants? Like, they put money into wars. Are we talking about that? They put money into all types of things that I think is out of order, but I don't expect them to do anything that is better. So I know, as from my standpoint, it is a systemic issue. I'm talking about our oppression as African people in America and globally. I don't see them in any real significant way being our friends. I don't care if it's in blackface or not. I don't care if it's Obama or Kamala or any of them. I'm not saying that they won't give me a little massage, and they won't, and I won't have my insurance won't look better and be cheaper under certain administrations. Look, my insurance is jacked up right now. But what I'm saying is, look, even a lot of people insurance. I take insurance as a healthcare provider, and it impacts my patients. But what I'm saying is this: I still understand that the problem is a reciprocal problem. It is a pendulum swing back and forth in both of them of the problem. The system is a problem. Like, I don't have any, like, I don't, look, if you get your reparations and the system stays the way it is, you have done nothing. That's all I'm saying. It has to be some structural change. Dr. King spoke about it. And Dr. King even spoke about it. It must be a reallocation of resources, not just a couple dollars. There has to be a reallocation of power. Look, the money is not going to liberate us. People have all types of money and are oppressed. Pardon?
I don't think they're ready for that. They're very much stuck in capitalism and what is it? Somebody said comfortable chains.
Yeah, comfortable, a fantasy. Because I'm just gonna say it's a fantasy. Your enemy is not gonna give you nothing. You got to fight for it. They're not giving. Look. I don't even believe in FBA's reparation ideas. Let me just be clear. I'm not typically nice. I don't believe in them. I mean, I've been here in this country for a long time. Let's go back how they talking about. FBA been fighting for reparations, including Pan-Africanism. I don't agree that the approach specifically that FBA wants to take will happen. Again, I said that earlier, and I want to be clear. In fact, they said, look, FBA got all types of, I don't even know what we're talking to, right? Okay, Venezuela. Let's go back to that. Venezuela. They put money up. Okay. Is that, okay, let me just be clear. Are they saying that because that money went to the Venezuelans here in this country, that took away from our reparation? Is that what they're saying?
I think so. I think all of these comments are based on the idea that these people are getting it and we're not. That's one. Now, and I would say, and I would even say, like, because I think this is still another comment that was made by Troy Body, and he is still here talking smack, but he ain't trying to clarify anything. But he said how much money was reserved for Black Americans. But I do think that, yeah, the comments are based on the idea that Black Americans aren't getting anything, immigrants are, and we, you and I, for instance, are not talking about Black Americans not getting anything, but everybody else is.
Are you saying, okay, I think that's a fallacious lie, first of all. I'm going back to within this system, right? They're saying Black Americans never received anything.
That's, well, like I said, you know, I mean, whether he meant it that way or not, when he says the Democrats did nothing for Black Americans, when he asks in the chat group how much was put on reserve for Black Americans,
like for what though?
That's how I'm interpreting it. I'm interpreting it as a person who is trying to make the argument that
you tell me what you think, because like I think I have a lack of patience for what I feel like is just something to deflect and throw us off. But you tell me, you just go you tell me what you think. I'm talking about like kill him, like go ahead and detonate him right now. Because I mean, like, if the person's not giving me clarity on what he or she is saying, I struggle with that, and I'm like, I'm not even entertaining it. But what do you say? I'm saying, what do you say to this comment? What are you conceptualizing? What are you thinking?
I guess what I was trying to say in reference to like each of the comments that he made, what I'm trying to say is, look, even if you have a point to make, if the idea is that Black Americans should be getting more out of the budget than anybody else, then my question to you again is, how are you going to get it? Like he said something else earlier in the chat room about immigrants getting more mayor council seats or something like that. I'm like, you can complain that other people are making progress in the political structure of this country, or you can run for office. If you just complain that other groups are making progress up the political ladder and you're not running for office and you're not gonna vote, like, again, and I'm not saying this is directly from Troy Body, but this is from the FBA universe. It's FBA people, even the day that the Ghanaian president came over, there were FBA people waving the American flag, and they were saying, we're not going to vote in the next election. I'm like, okay, well, you refuse to vote, and then you complain about who gets put into a position of power, and then you complain about where they allocate the money, but then you don't want to vote. So you just want this never-ending cycle of complaint. Well, he's doing this and she's doing that, and they got this and they got that. but you don't register to vote. Whether you want to fix the system or not, you could say, I want to fix the system, I want to improve the system. Hell, I want to burn the system down. But if all you're going to do is stand on the sidelines, then, okay, you just want to be a cheerleader.
So, again, it's like you pull for strings and you say, not you, cuz, not you, but I'm talking about them. Like, but you don't have anything to say about too big to fail. You're not saying anything about, all the governmental bailouts and reparations that these major corporations received. You're not talking about all those, but we could pull for strings everywhere. And I'm not even arguing whether or not it was the best use of resources or not. At the end of the day, what I am saying is you believe in this government in ways I don't. You believe that they really want to help you. You believe that but you're not coming for these capitalistic companies that they bailed out, that they gave plenty of money to, that they could have allocated towards reparations. You're not fighting. Right. I'm certain if me and my cousin went and looked up all the different places they put money, we could find all types of places that we could critique. But again, to point out that these people receive money versus us receiving money rather than fighting for the goddamn money is problematic.
Exactly.
Like you're putting so much money. You're putting so much energy in fighting quote unquote immigrants rather than fighting for the very thing that you want. Like you're putting way more time in this in fighting immigrants. I was actually listening to a hearing, and instead of fighting for what you deserve, they in there talking about who don't deserve it. What is real? I can't make this up. They're actually fighting about who doesn't deserve it more than why we deserve it. And I would argue that'd be a better approach if that's what your fight is. Why is there so much energy put into who doesn't deserve it? Especially we're going out into the and I think they sidetrack us with, they don't care about these Latinos. They don't, or Latinas or what. They're not. I'm talking about FBA. That is a deflection. That is something to throw us off and have us talking about it. They are an anti-Pan-Africanist group. All this stuff, they talking about Latinos, they ain't worried about no goddamn Latinos. When you go to their daddy's page, Tariq Nasheed, he ain't got nothing. He ain't hardly mentioned no Latinos. Maybe 4 years ago or something. All I see is black immigrants that are made caricatures of on his page every day, 4 or 5 times a day. He ain't worried about Papo and Pago and all that. He ain't worried about them. And the reality is also that I lost it, but he's not worried about them. But also the reality is what immigrants want you, I don't see this preponderance of Africans and Jamaicans and Caribbeans and UKians and I used to, is that a such thing, UKian? Come in here and say they want you, give me the loot. I don't hear them saying that. I don't see it. So you're like shadow boxing. You're boxing a ghost. You're boxing people that ain't asking for your stuff. Why are you fighting a make-believe fight? Why are you fighting a make-believe fight? Again, the people from Venezuela and all that, you just pull for strings. You're not worried about no. And there's so many there's so much bad statistics done. Like even the idea they even play us, those who are on the left supposedly against one another. And what I mean by that, look, I'm not that, okay? I'm not a Democratic lover or a Republican lover. That's just not me. But what they do with statistics is even bad. And we follow it. Like I saw a comment, and it might be from somebody who's more Pan-Africanist or pro, I don't know, whatever. We get so mishandled with the way that statistics are presented to us.
Yeah.
And I've done a whole show on it. The fact that we continue to say, well, Latinos voted for for Trump at, I saw something 60-something%. Now, I mean, it just depends, right? Where you get your data from, right? It just kind of depends, right? But even in that, and I just show for those who just listening, I just showed like there's some different statistics here, right here. It said 42% voted for Trump and 56% voted for Harris. But look, it just depends where you get it from. But two, Latinos as a group is to throw you off and to confuse you. See, to really have a statistical analysis, we must ask the question, which Latinos did what? Like, who are Latinos? When you start to look at it in a more granular sense, you will realize most of the people that you're blaming, yeah, y'all go across the border, y'all voted for Trump. Most of them didn't vote for Trump. It's not a reality, and most people aren't talking about it. They're not really being fair. I'm talking about even our political pundits that should know better. I don't know if they should know better, but they keep pointing fingers at Latinos that are from south of the border. But the reality is a major portion of the Latinos who voted, or Latino, or the Latinx, or whatever you want to call it, people don't, whichever way they want to identify, because a lot of people don't even take that Latinx. That's a real thing. But at the same time, or Hispanic, and that's debate around that. So I don't want to disrespect how people identify. But what I am saying is this. Those that you are saying go home and you voted for Trump and all this type of thing, they ain't the ones that did it. You're talking about white Latinos voted for Trump, or Latinas voted for Trump. I'm not saying none of the other ones didn't, but what I am saying is, as a majority, they didn't. The same way y'all try to say that black men voted for Trump in higher numbers. Like, y'all be doing bad statistics. What I'm saying is we have to not allow them to continue to weaponize us against one another, especially in our communities, because these fights don't stop. It don't stop between Jamaican and Trinidadian and this one and that one. It even shows up in our own houses with the brothers and the sisters. It's like, black men, y'all let us down. Black men voted highly for Democrats, or Kamala more specifically. In general, they vote that direction. Y'all know that. But you still blamed us. One. Two, I ain't even going to tell you how I voted. But nonetheless, this is what I'll say. Because I don't want to start a whole new war in the chat. Just go back and look at some other shows from a year or so ago. But what I will say is this. You have to learn to read statistics. You have to learn how to really read the statistics and learn how one examines the data versus allowing people to play on your emotions. Because Latinos is one of the most ambiguous. I'm looking for another term. What's the term I'm looking for? It's a superfluous type of, like, it's not a group that you can just say, when you think Latino, you think someone in South America and all this look a certain way. What do they call them? The ones that look more indigenous. I can't think of the term right now. Somebody put it in the chat.
Tainos?
No, not Tainos.
No.
I talked somebody would be able to, they those who kind of like super like what's the word? People that you think about, yeah, mestizo. Yes, thank you.
Mestizo. Okay.
Yes, thank you. And you think about them when you think about Latino, but they ain't the only people that make up the Latino population. In fact, people that look like you and I make up that population as well. It's a goddamn language. Yeah. It's like it's a group that's combined together through ethnicity and language. But all Latinos don't speak Spanish or even, and all of them don't speak English, and all of them don't speak Portuguese, and even there's debate of whether or not people from Haiti is Latino or not. So what I'm saying is it's a very unclear identity category that, from my standpoint, it causes major confusion, and we be blaming people that don't deserve to be blamed, so that we can continue to point the fingers back between one another. And then I'm not going to go into the whole idea of black and everybody not being a universal term and us fighting each other because this person over here they don't understand what black is. And you introduced it to them. They're like, I'm not black, but now you want to hold them accountable because they're placed in this reality in this world. Never even introduced them or told them they were black. They found out they were black at 25, and you think they're supposed to just accept it? You know, like, yeah, I mean, like we have to do a bit more thinking here. Because
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw the same game being played with the statistics when it came to the Somalian community. The Somalian American community, the statistics show that they voted in overwhelming majority right alongside African Americans. So they voted for Democrats all up and down the ticket. But people were saying that the Somalians voted against the Democrats or against black people or whatnot because there was one small committee of Somalians in one city that said that they were supporting Trump. But again, like you said, the statistics showed overwhelmingly all across the country where, like, DC got a lot of Somalians, and you know what I'm saying, they got it all showing where the Somalians voted for Trump and where they voted for Democrats, Kamala, etc., whatever. But all people want to do is run with, well, you know, they voted against us, they went against us, and they voted for Trump, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like you said, people. I don't know how you get people to recognize and realize that you have to look beyond the headline. You got to look beyond the soundbite. And when it comes to statistics, you got to look at who's giving you the information, because a conservative think tank keeps putting out there certain things. And I'll give you another example. Right here in Virginia, there are conservative think tanks that are sending flyers out, particularly to African-American homes, that have pictures of Obama and pictures of various scenes from civil rights marches. And they're saying, vote no on April 21st. Stand up for your ancestors. But these flyers are coming from conservative think tanks and conservative PACs and Republican-backed organizations. But the vote on April 21 is a vote in Virginia to expand the number of representatives that Virginia can have. So if you vote no, then Virginia gets no new seats. If you vote yes, then Virginia can get up to 5 new seats. And all of the political pundits say that it's likely that all 5 seats would go to Democrats. But the Republicans are saying vote no. And they're showing pictures of Obama and other black civil rights leaders saying vote no. Because they don't want you to get, because they don't want Democrats to have any more new seats. And it all falls into whether or not, and I know you said you know you don't like either party, but it all falls into whether or not the Democrats can send enough people to Congress to block some of the stuff that Trump is doing. And so again, I'm like, if all you do is read the headline, then you'll walk into the booth voting no. Because you didn't investigate who sent you the flyer. You don't investigate you don't read the newspaper article, you read the headline. So that's just the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And one of the things I was thinking as you was sharing that, because I saw JG11 put here, Somali's got a lot of anti-blackness too. I just be wondering sometimes if JG listens ever. Like, does he learn? JG, you're my man, but I don't know. You don't show me that you learn too much.
Yeah, he don't. And like, you'll check him, chastise him, give him some information. He'll say, "Okay, my bad," and then the next day he come on and he start back with the same mess.
So it's like, I don't know if he retains anything. I don't know. I'm really curious because he said I helped him one time, and I'm like, what did I help you do? I'm scared to see what was there before. And I basically just went over this idea that, see, we expect other people to see. Okay, let me back up. I really think that people often talk about, well, you shouldn't be an engineer. I mean, you get like, leave engineering up to engineers. Leave chemistry up to chemists. Leave even I don't think we do well at leaving history though up to historians and people who are studied. I don't think we leave statistics and social science up to people who study the social sciences. We all kind of think we're entering this at the same level. And I think that we are looking at stuff we don't understand. And we're being tricked with it. And we think we know. I think like it's kind of like you think you know more than you truly know. Like, I think people think that people went to school all these years and somehow they don't have a greater grasp. It's kind of like you're going to your surgeon and you thinking that somehow you would do the procedure better. And I'm not saying there's no poor surgeons or no poor social scientists perhaps. So there's not any naturally talented people who haven't went through these routes. But the fact that you think that everybody's worldview is the same as yours, and that they see black the way that you see black. In fact, we also have to be really honest. There's people in our country that look like you and I that say, I'm not black. Especially people that are older. They're like, I'm not black. As if black was, I know people still to this day that say they're not black. I know some people down there, not close to you, cuz, but not where you from. What's the other city that's on the other side if you're going down 85? Petersburg.
Petersburg.
Yeah. I know people in Petersburg because they're an interesting group of black people down there who you know what I'm talking about.
I might.
Yeah, well, Petersburg has certain mixtures going on. Just like some areas in Southern Maryland, there's a whole different world. And people be like, "Oh, I'm not black, but you want to call me black?" I don't go for black. And a lot of them intermarried and inbred, and they wanted to keep certain features and all these type of things. And I'm not black, but you call them black. But there's people just say they're not black in general because it's an identity category. And in this country, race is the dominant stratification system and way of oppressing people. In other countries, race is not even a thing for them, because especially if you're the dominant population and all of you look the same. So we have to utilize our faculties here. We have to be able to think a bit. We have to be able to really shift our thinking to saying, what does it look like on another island where everybody looks alike? What does it look like in a country in Africa where everybody looks the same? What does it look like when people have not been taught that they were black? They learned about this black thing through social media, the media, when they came to America, all these type of things. And then also realize that it's a very recent construct for many of us.
Right.
At least accepting it. My father told me, and he said it on the show like not too long ago, that you would have got, if you were to tell somebody we're black when he was growing up, those were fighting words. So I think we have to really look at this in a more nuanced sense. But let me just tell you, let my little Somali brother, little Somalian brother from the Somali community out there tell you himself.
Do you view Somalis and blacks differently? Yeah. It was touching to meet a kid from the next Somali generation like FB and to humanize the Somalis in a way they often aren't. But the cultural difference.
He said this.
Do you view Somalis and blacks differently? Yeah. It was touching to meet a kid from the next Somali generation like FB and to humanize the Somalis in a way they often aren't. But the cultural difference.
So again, I just like to say, well, this young brother from the Somali community, somebody taught him he was black because he's in America.
Right.
So America is a very racialized country. And if you're going to learn at some point that race matters here. And I want to do this clip here.
And in fact, let me tell you something. Pan-Africanism is the only movement that has ever threatened our oppressors. And you're looking at a reality in time and history where Pan-Europeanism, Pan-Arabianism, and Pan-Asianism is flourishing. White folks go to Europe and make these international agreements. NATO is Pan-Europeanism. The World Bank and the IMF is Pan-Europeanism. But you're going to fight.
That's not the clip I wanted to show you. Let me try it one more time.
That's some social cultural we sick boss. So for them to attack, first of all, no humane, sane person respects the territorial integrity of an empire. Imperial nations deserve no territorial integrity. So you can't be mad about people, quote unquote, illegally immigrating, invading, or trespassing on the territory of an imperialist nation. Now, I don't care if it's the United States, Europe, Australia.
What do you say? Because, and I guess we're going to wrap this up at some point. And I'm not sure if you wanted to open up the line or nothing like that, but I don't have a lot of time for them if they do.
It's up to you. I mean, I like opening up the line, but there's a whole lot of crazy folk in the chat room tonight, so I don't know if anybody's going to try to say anything.
I don't care as long as you let me handle the way the way it flows. And I'm very sure. I'm not. Look, I'm a very open guy, welcoming, but once you show me that I have to set boundaries, I will set them and set them strong. But what you say to that clip? Anything at all?
I love that clip. It speaks to it says it in a more direct way than what I was doing. It speaks to why I was like so-called like quote unquote defending like the guy that made all of the comments on the video, and I'm trying to explain to him the differences with the budget and who does this, that, and the other. To some extent, that's the reason why I'm doing it. Like, because essentially what he was saying is, you know, this American empire, we shouldn't be of the mind to be trying to respect or defend the territorial borders of the American empire. So I'm like, come one, come all. Let everybody come through and let everybody, you know, get a hand on a piece of the pie if they can. But again, you know, I'm pretty sure that's gonna piss off some FBA type folks. But that's why I was going through those explanations about how the budget works and who you really should be mad at. Because if you're gonna get mad that these people are coming over here, you need to get mad at the fact that it is America that has done things in all of these different people's countries to make it where it's more where they have a better shot at survival coming over here than staying home.
Yeah, you know, I'm not what I have no real ideas around. I agree with him. I agree with Brother Diallo. Now, does that mean that as a group of Black people, African people in America, that we don't protect ourselves?
No, not at all. Like
No, not at all.
we always we are always protecting ourselves, or we always need to protect ourselves. Now, how we protect ourselves is probably where, you know, where the Pan-African versus the FBA versus the Black Christian, the Black Muslim, and so on, we may differ in how we go about protecting ourselves.
Yeah. So, cause we got some people coming in, and family, the link is in the chat. My cousin's favorite is here. Yeah, his favorite is here. Yeah, so the favorite, one of your favorites are here in the building.
Yeah, pull him on up.
But I mean, I haven't really seen him support much of anything, so I'm not. If he comes, yeah, I mean, like I don't know, man. I haven't seen him support much of anything, and I appreciate my man American Dream for clarifying what I read the other day while we was on. I didn't get to read it because he made sense out of the stuff I copied and pasted in real time. Since there's no real, like, the African American population is definitely still growing. It just makes up a smaller percentage of the overall Black population due to the increase in Black immigrants coming as well. But the Black American, African American, those you call FBA, whatever, population is still growing. Right. So, all right. So, cuz I'm gonna open this up for you, and let me put this like this. Okay, can I do it like that? Okay, let's see how we do it. Okay. All right, Pamelato family. 2 minutes, Pamelato. What it is? Where you calling from? Howard County, Maryland. What's happening?
Peace, Kings. I hope all is well. And
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for having me back up. I'll keep it brief as possible because I noticed that this particular question got both of y'all in the chokehold and y'all try to run away from it. So we'll see if y'all try to run again tonight. My question is, with all due respect, how many more majority Black American communities are you all willing to forfeit to other ethnicities demographically, mathematically?
Oh, now you're breaking it down to communities now, not cities.
You noticed that, right?
Well, if you listen to the playback, I said communities before. And actually, when you Googled it, when you chat GPT'd it, it even showed you some of the communities that have already been taken over. But what's the answer, respectfully?
Okay, so I'll answer. I mean, cuz you want to go with that? I mean, I got something, but you can go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, all of y'all always lauding Dr. Claude Anderson. Y'all typically, Dr. Claude Anderson said it, so you know what it is. So look past Tariq. Dr. Claude said it. Dr. Claude Anderson said we don't have any communities. And he said we never had. We have neighborhoods. But, okay, what proper perspective has shown and proved is that even when you go to the more granular level in community, though you said city and communities and all that, I heard you say all of them, but you were really pushing city at first. Now I'm hearing the clarity come to you I'm hearing you become more clear. I appreciate that. At least you.
No, I said communities multiple times, but it's all right. I'm listening.
Okay, so I appreciate you being more clear. More clear this time. And the thing is, what my cousin, Professor Shabazz, the proper perspective has shown, is that there's no displacement. If Black people decide that they want to migrate somewhere else, you will, African Americans, FBA, whatever you want to call them, if they decide they want to migrate other places, they migrate other places. And that will leave other people. So, 1. 2, my argument will be you're not really forfeiting a community that you don't own in the first place. And like, so the people still exist. They just decide to move somewhere else. Just like the Jewish community were a predominant community in Baltimore City at one time. The white community before them, they decided to, in white flight, move out and create suburbs. And the Jewish community picked up their real estate. And from that real estate, they followed the white people. And then we tend to follow them too. But we keep relocating and following them, just like the Jewish people did.
Well, may I ask for clarity?
Hold on,
are you saying you're willing to forfeit all of your communities?
Brother, let me finish talking.
I'm asking for clarity.
Brother, hold up, brother. We're going to kick you off if you don't be respectful.
Yeah, go ahead, run. It's all right.
So people move and migrate their communities all the time. So you're not really like, so if you decide to leave Bed-Stuy and move down south, like many people have done and are doing for a different quality of life, what's wrong with that?
Well, and I'm glad you asked me. I already addressed that. Even down south, the majority of the cities are no longer majority Black American. So back to my initial question, are you saying that you're willing to forfeit?
No, you didn't answer my question. Try it again.
Maybe you lack comprehension.
No, okay,
respectfully.
Look, let's be respectful. My question
let's keep it respectful.
Because you didn't answer my question. All you had to say is restate the question.
Well, actually, I understood it, and I'll re-articulate what you said with all due respect. You said, what's wrong with...
Yes, thank you.
Well, yes, you said, what's wrong with Black Americans leaving Bed-Stuy and moving down south? My response was, the communities that Black Americans are moving to down south, and I'll even name some of them, some of the cities. Atlanta, no longer majority Black American. Charlotte is not majority Black American. Greensboro, North Carolina is not majority Black American. So my point is, collectively, Black Americans are forfeiting Black American communities. So I asked, how many more are you willing to forfeit?
You just see what you just did? You just juxtapose cities, neighborhoods to cities
that are not majority Black.
You just went from Bed-Stuy to Atlanta, Charlotte, and somewhere else. And
did you understand the point?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's poor social science. That's poor social science. You're just opposing things that aren't even equal. See, you got to go.
What I'm saying is they're not majority Black American.
So you're saying that, and I could be wrong. Atlanta is not predominantly Black.
No, Atlanta is only 43% Black American today. Checkmate.
Atlanta is only. I mean, so So again, I'm not going to chase that. But what I'm saying is, are you saying, with all things equal, that these people aren't moving to predominantly black communities?
What I'm saying is that
no, you
trying to
can't
answer your
be talking
question.
about cities. You can't be talking about. You can't go from city from
Exactly.
community, because you came in talking about communities and you were
Yeah,
clear.
I'm trying to answer that because I used to live in Atlanta. What I'm saying
Okay.
is Black Americans are moving to communities within Atlanta that are rapidly gentrifying, and many of them are no longer majority Black American. So back to my initial question that you're trying to run from. How many more of your communities are you willing to forfeit?
Where is the research first that what you're saying
The
is accurate?
census, brother. The census.
The census.
And you notice how many questions you're asking me that I'm not running from? Can you answer my one question?
You haven't really answered the question,
brother. You're running.
No. First and foremost,
and I'm reading the chat.
You have to support that most black people are moving out of black communities, not to other black communities.
The census. Yeah, I'm supporting it with the census. The census already.
You can't just state.
I'm trying to finish the sentence. And anyone listening, just fact check me. The total number of majority Black American census tracts nationally is decreasing. Do you understand that, brother?
Say that one more time.
The total number of majority Black American census tracts is decreasing nationally. So once again, how many more of your communities are you willing to forfeit to other ethnicities, brother? Simple question.
Because you got something for him. Because
you're in the chokehold. So let your cousin answer. Go ahead, because
really, what I want to do is give you time to talk, right? But what I really want to ask you is, what's your point?
All right. The point is, collectively, if Black Americans don't practice self-preservation, Black Americans may not have any more majority Black American communities within the next 100 years. So because, do you have an answer?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I was multitasking.
It's all right. The chat heard me. Because you had an answer?
No, you asked me if I have a question. So I got to.
Brother, I'm done with you. You're in the chokehold. You're in the chokehold. So just choke. So because do you have an answer?
Click them off.
Yeah, go ahead, run.
Again, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Your facts are wrong. So, like,
all right,
you keep trying to say this, you're in a chokehold, and you're not giving any real significant data. Even in major immigrant hubs, including Atlanta, immigrants are still a minority within the Black population. There's no Black communities that have been overrun, taken over, sacrificed by Black Americans.
Did you forget the question, brother? Because did you forget the question? The question was, how many more majority Black American communities are you willing to forfeit to other ethnicities, brother? Simple question.
The question is, how many have we lost?
Shit. Well, I can name some offhand. Matter of fact, even you chat GPT.
I put them in the back right now. But I just think the question is fallacious and is deflecting. I just think the question is just I didn't kick you out. You could have stayed. I will bring you back up. But the point, like, this is to throw you off. Like, your point is, so you're forfeiting communities, and I started the conversation by saying this: people migrate all the time. Mm-hmm. He's creating an alarm. He's alarming people about something that has happened traditionally forever. And in his fact, and with that, his facts are off. And he conflates cities and communities. He's been doing that the entire time. He came in. Mm-hmm. He likes to say he cooked you and booked you and all that type of thing. But okay, so what is like? First of all, if you are talking about Dr. Claude Anderson, again, all y'all keep talking about the FBAers, because when y'all don't want us to come too hard on Tariq, y'all say, well, Dr. Claude Anderson said it. Dr. Claude Anderson said y'all don't have no goddamn communities. So what I'm saying is, I think we really have to look at this in a granular sense, and this might be a different conversation too, brother, because the reality is he comes and he tries. Every week he's getting sharper. He's getting sharper. So he's not like JG, who doesn't at least go take the ass whipping and not come back with a new approach. You know, but the reality is, what community, who doesn't migrate their communities? And again, as you baked them, as I said on your show, when he was trying to say New York City, because I've heard many of them, including a lot of them, say that New York City is now a predominant black immigrant city. This is what the argument, this is where it started. And even people like FBA Ron and all the rest of them often try to say that's why hip hop is now, they even try to blame the current state of hip hop on black immigrants. They try to say it is now shit hop and trash hop and all of that because of black immigrants. They're saying that this music, like that hip hop had this evolution that was more uplifting, and now because it's in the hands of the dominant people in New York, and that's why New York is not on top of hip hop and all, they're blaming everything on immigrants because New York in their minds is predominantly black immigrant. And again, who are we forfeiting the communities to, and what people don't migrate? Because
no, you're right. Again, that's why I was like, okay, tell me how many have we lost? Like, how many are you willing to sacrifice? Well, if you ain't lost none, then there's no problem. There aren't, like, yeah, he shifted because the last time he came in, he tried to put the emphasis on cities. Oh, but I say communities, but you put the emphasis on cities. When you pressed him on that, even tonight, when you asked for examples, he went back to cities. When I asked him how many communities have we lost, he said, shit. or I could tell you some. And he went back to cities. Atlanta is still not, we haven't lost Atlanta. We haven't lost New York. We haven't lost Chicago. We haven't lost DC. I don't know what cities what communities he says we've lost. But when you ask him for a community, he gives you a city.
Hold up. And me living in a predominantly black city, you gotta say Baltimore. But I want to say it like really serious. No, Baltimore is a black city. A black city. When people come here, they're like, God damn, it's black. Black business people, black politicians, black everything. But the reality is we are still oppressed in these black ass cities. Detroit, Baltimore, down south, Louisiana, what was the place where Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans, all these places, like what is it doing for us? I get it. You mean you want to like it's not necessarily. I'm saying that they are good spaces for people on a psychic level, to some degree, but there's major oppression in black cities, and some of these cities that you name, they're not necessarily predominantly black, but they have large black populations. Now you might go to the communities, but Detroit's and the New Orleans, the Baltimores, and so on and so forth, are highly populated by black people with black politicians and black business people and all these type of things. But these cities have some of the most on the metrics. We're struggling in many ways more than others. So, cause if you want, I can open it up for somebody else so we can keep moving. Or
he's finished. Give somebody else a chance.
No, Cuban crisis. That sounds scary. Cuban, we're gonna give you 2 minutes to get your point out, and let's build. Let us know where you calling from.
Peace, brothers. How y'all doing?
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Yeah, I've been watching your show for a while. I appreciate your show. I record every episode, but a lot of the episodes. So I appreciate your information. I'm 93 miles away from Cuba. Is where I'm at. So there's a lot of things I want to say, but I know there's 2 minutes and not 2 hours. So one of the things I want to hit on is this capitalistic agenda that is propagated, and I find this very ironic. So now, over the course of some years, Donald Trump, with the whole migrant situation, and Sleepy Biden with the migrant situation, and we can go down the line from Obama, we can go to Clinton, we can go to Bush Sr., we can go to Bush Jr., we can go to Reagan, we can go to Carter, we can go on and on and on. That this is not new. Okay? And the destabilization in these so-called Latin countries that the United States implements, that destabilizes governments socially, economically, politically, okay? And they put puppet politicians into place that are no benefit to the people. And when you have people that want to stand up and they'd rather die standing versus on their knees, these are problems. So when we see the mass influx of immigrants that come here, number one, they're coming here because it's a large piece of land that's close to where they are. That this government is responsible for the destabilization. That this government is responsible for betting and involved in cocaine. That old Rawhide, Ronald Reagan, and Bush Sr. and Oliver North was in cahoots with who? The Iranians. And who is America? Who is the problem right now with America in the Zionist Iran, right? In cahoots with them to get armed. Armed with what? With weapons. To do what? To disperse the weapons where? Central America. What was going on in Central America? What came into the black community? Okay, so when you see an influx of people coming over here, they're being destabilized, and at the same time, this government makes money off of it, as well as those governments make money off of it. It's business. So capitalism is economic classism that uses the social construct of race to justify their economic exploitation. So we're at odds over what? What are we beefing over? So when we look at the ignorant things that so-called Latinos say, well, just as so-called Latinos say ignorant things, you have African Americans that say ignorant things. And what does the ignorance usually come from? It comes from an indoctrination. It comes from lack of education. So when you have people with these terms, where they say, me no black, me Dominican, right? When you get this hierarchy, where does that come from? The Lacan system. The Lacan system where Negro was at the bottom. Negro, where the term Negro comes from, that the English adopted from the Spanish and the Portuguese, that used linguistic imperialistic terms to divide people for the purposes of economics. Divide. So when I look at all this, what I see are puppets. What I see are individuals that are lip professing that they are about their people, when in fact they are emulating the person that they call the enemy, the person that they say they have the problem with, and so they spread indoctrination. And this is done amongst every group. So this isn't just one group or that group, it's all groups. So this is a huge problem. And so I say all that to say this is that when we see so-called Latinos, because I know I'm very well acquainted with the pseudo wabo-abo code called FBA. And a lot of them, if not all of them, seem to take issue with Latinos. What I find interesting is that when I was a kid in the 80s, it was white people that were saying, black people, go back to Africa. Black people, you're getting affirmative action. Black people, you got a loan. You got to go to a trade school. You got to go to college. How come there's this black man that became a fire chief? How come it wasn't Willie over here, the Irish guy? How come it? And so now what do we see? We see a thing of people getting comfortable and thinking they're equal in the eyes of the oppressor when they're not. And now we got a new enemy on hand. This country always has an enemy. It's always been the communists. And if it started with the indigenous people, it transferred to the African, it's transferred to every single group of people, from the Arabs to the Muslims. Everybody's a problem, and all 10 fingers are pointing at the world, but the fingers never point back at the person that's creating most of the turmoil on the planet.
You preaching now. Come on now, your 2 minutes. Look, I gave you extra time because you flowing. Look, I can keep you going all day for real. But you know they're gonna come up here and they're gonna be like, you gave him more time. But no, but it's only one other beautiful brother. No. You said some powerful things. It's only and I couldn't catch it all, but only one thing that I would reframe a bit. I think I'm hearing myself back. Hold on. The one thing that I would reframe, and it's not even a need, but I'll just reframe it because I think you would agree. And it's not, because sometimes we think it's undereducation, and sometimes we say not undereducation or non-educated, but I really think it's miseducation. Because even those of us with the most education who think we know a thing or two don't know that we are also caught up in this thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate what you have to say. Cuz you got something for the dear brother?
No, I'm slam dunk. I'm in this corner. I was one thing that stood out, and I was like, "Yep, that's Stockholm syndrome." When you start taking on the ideas, the thoughts, the messaging of your oppressor, that's Stockholm syndrome. And indeed, that's what far too many people of the oppressed world end up doing, and that is exactly what the FBA is doing. And it's not just FBA. There are other African Americans, there are other people in Latino communities, there are other people in so-called immigrant style communities that do the same thing. But it is a terrible thing, but it is something that you have to fight against at all times. But he, 100% everything that he said, I co-sign with that.
Yeah. I saw Mr. K and Mr. McCary was on here earlier, but he got off, I guess. But yeah, brother, I really appreciate it. You got anything in closing? Because you look like you're the one that's going to take us out of here.
I would like to end with my professor in African Studies used to always say. He said, "It was never about race. It was always about economic classes." And of course, there's context. But the justification of race is due to the fueling of economic classism. Slavery was based on economics. It had nothing to do with a phenotype. It had nothing to do with a language. It had nothing to do with a religion. It had nothing to do with a location of where somebody came from. It had to do with free labor, cheap labor. It had to do with making money. And the same thing they did to the indigenous people. The same way the thing they've done in Vietnam to the Asians, to everybody. It is about economic exploitation. This is capitalism.
I shame. Appreciate you, dear brother. Make sure you call in. Keep the calls coming. Really appreciate your analysis. And I appreciate even when you say that when we look at race and how it's been utilized to carry out a certain agenda. And of course, there's scholarly debate about that, but I really appreciate your analysis nonetheless. All right. Let's see if there's nobody else on the line, brother. Cuz Carrie said somebody ain't reading. Carrie said nobody never picked up a book. Hey, Carrie, who you talking to? Carrie, you talking to me and my cousin, or me? Carrie said, I don't think you ever read anything. Who is he talking to?
Yeah, I'm not sure who he was. He was going back and forth with somebody.
Is that why he got off? I was looking for the Carrie wrap up, man. Carrie, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was looking for the Carrie rap, but he got off. All right, no problem. Because you got something to take us out of here. So,
I wish I did. I don't have anything particular. I might have a look. Wait a minute, who is
Well,
that?
here go
KP.
Carrie. Yeah,
Okay, Carrie. Okay.
All right, so let me put you back, brother KP. What it is, man?
Yeah, man. I wanted to get on and talk to the mulatto dude.
Hey, yeah, talk to him. He probably listening, but he ain't up here no more. He got off.
My problem with him, he's projecting some so-called population loss of black natives on things that black immigrants are doing to him or them. I'd like to ask him what black immigrants are doing specifically to reduce your numbers in these cities. I guarantee he cannot answer that question. And while we're wasting time discussing that, he's not talking about the policies, the local policies, the state policies
Absolutely.
that are disenfranchising and have been disenfranchising black people no matter where they're born in those very same cities. The very same gentrification and foreclosure and miseducation and over incarceration and malnutrition and you name them. That is applied to everyone across the board who is black and who is poor. Okay.
Hold on 1 second, Carrie. I know you can pick it back up, but you made me remember this. The same guy, the way you responded to him just now is similar to the response I gave him last week about another angle he was taking. He was blaming immigrants for the, although his information was fallacious, that there's a decrease in the number of African Americans in this country. And so my question was my response was very similar to your own, is that now mine's a little graphic. It's saying, so what are you blaming immigrants for? Are you saying that they're taking the penises out of black American descendants, out of the vaginas of other black American descendants? Like, what are you saying here? So that's again why I think there has to be some skill, and I think what you just said, we have to keep that in our toolbox. Because he begins to blame things on people that they have no power over. But go ahead, Brother Curry. I'm sorry for cutting.
Yeah, no. It's blessed, man. Listen, it's someone mentioned earlier that this is just a distraction, and I like to say amen to that, because my whole point of coming up is to suggest that as we entertain that foolishness, again, we're taking our minds and our eyes off of what is continuing to do the harm to everyone black and poor in this country, and that is this ethno-racial capitalist state. And so, you know what I'm saying? This insistence on white hegemony. For those who don't know what that word means, it means white dominance. We're seeing that manifest explicitly, obviously, from the so-called White House on down. Go to Florida right now. Go look at Georgia's governor. Look at the policies in the state of Louisiana. They don't give a damn that you're born in Jamaica or you're born in Jackson, Mississippi. If you black and poor, the policies are aimed at you. So I don't get where this mulatto guy is coming up with all this claptrap and or this Tariq Nasheed freak or pimp. It's ridiculous. And yeah, I would just say you got to harken back to that Julian Bond TV series from the 80s that covered the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s, and keep our eyes on the prize.
I appreciate. I at least respect. Now, keep follow me. I at least respect Tariq a bit more in his foolishness, because at least he getting a bag for it. I don't know what Pan Mulatto gets for it. I have no idea what Pan Mulatto gets for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kicks and giggles.
Oh. Well, I was just going to say, yeah, what this really is all about, man, is it's really all about this intra-black competition, man. A lot of these guys, for whatever reason, maybe a Jamaican dude took their girlfriend back in junior high or something like that. It's irrational beef, man. That's what it is, man. They want black immigrants to go underneath them in some kind of way. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And you know, Jamaicans was mad at me for taking that woman. hey, but they were my homies though. I was in the ESO class with them though.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Oh God. Yeah, man. I do get that. That's crazy. Yeah, this division is I had something outside of that joke that I made, but yeah, I can feel your passion. And yeah, I can feel your passion. And I don't know what I mean, just getting back to Pan Mulatto before we get off. He's trying. I have, you know, the idea of a pan. I thought about it after the show. Or maybe I thought about it on the show, but I didn't get to articulate it last week. I think his idea of Pan Mulatto is that he doesn't want to say black or African. I think what he's calling a mulatto is that he believes that there's an admixture, as he articulated to some degree, the native people and the white people that were here with black people. So now he's making us, who have very small percentage collectively of whiteness in us, mulattoes. Oh boy, that's rough. That's go ahead.
At the root of this FBA claim is a false claim to indigeneity, and they buoy that false claim with this equally dubious claim of ethnogenesis. They totally misunderstand the term and what it actually means. Ethnogenesis, yes, it happens everywhere. It knows no race. It knows no group, right? It's a natural phenomenon when people from different places and backgrounds come together and decide to do something new. Hip hop was an ethnogenetic cultural form, right? It was associated with black and brown people at a time and a place, right? And there were lots of different elements that came together to form hip hop culture. These folks act like the Zulu Nation did not define the elements of hip hop and explain all of this 40 years ago. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not reading. They're not, and even if they're reading, they're not challenging what they have read in classrooms and getting in groups and measuring, you know, what's right and what's wrong with one another. And it's embarrassing. And
I think it's a bit different. I think it's a bit different.
Go ahead.
I think what they did. Fact Family, I got an entire video on ethnogenesis on the station. Go and watch it. I break down ethnogenesis and how it's fallacious, and African American is the ethnogenesis. FBA is not the ethnogenesis. There's no need for the term. The ethnogenesis has already been spoken for, and it's something that people have to agree to. It's a thing that people have to agree to. So
no, I agree. When modern. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What was the real thing I was coming for you? So not really coming for you, but what was I was responding to? I wanted to respond to. I lost it, but go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, it's true. When African American, when it's in its modern installation as, you know, an official moniker for, you know, people with primary African heritage was put into play. Yes, that was, it was meant to be inclusive. It was part of what they call multiculturalism, right? Which was going on in the nation, and yeah, there were black people from different places, most of them born here in the United States. But this idea, there's another false claim that FBA makes, is that this so-called FBA is genetically, culturally, geographically.
I want to be clear on that, because see, they're going to listen to you and they're going to hear that it's something different than what
they imagine. This claim to indigenous leads to them. Yeah, go ahead.
African American is speaking to all the data, the research, the journals, the science, everything. When I say science, I mean scientific journals and agreement and consensus and social science. That African American is what we call FBA, not necessarily a term that, in fact, most people don't take it on. Most people from Nigeria don't take it on. Most people from Jamaica don't take. People when they migrate here, they just don't take it on. And those who do take it on as a form of solidarity. And others feel like they are forced to take it on because they don't want to not show that level of solidarity. But when people specifically speak about African American, it is understood they are speaking about those who had chattel enslavement here in the USA.
I see. Okay, that fair enough. Mm-hmm. However, I would counter and say when Jesse Jackson popularized the movement, right? There was already diasporic elements contributing to that movement that were already baked in. This idea that Black people from outside the territorial boundaries of today's United States were not coming in and becoming African American is false. And that is one of the main projections from FBA. They ignore the involuntary migration. Meaning of which we call slavery, right? They miss that. They miss the establishment of the colonies going back to 1619 or 1607 with Jamestown. They misunderstand that went through the Caribbean first, and they forget that the Clotilda came almost up on the eve of the Civil War, right? Or that Black people were moving, like when the 54th Regiment was raised. You know how many dozens, maybe even hundreds of Black men who had moved to Canada came back into the country to fight? So the point I'm just pointing to is that Black people are always moving around. It's not unique to any particular place on the planet. We move for better conditions, and we continue to do that today. But the FBA relies on the idea that Black people are not moving, and that there's this native homogenous group that's pure, and that other Blacks are going to dilute that purity. And I agree with that. For all intensive purposes, our grandmother, I can say, one of our grandmothers, we share a grandmother, me and this gentleman on the line, and my father says that she said we from the West Indies, but now that must have been a long time ago. That had to be like that. I don't know when it happened, but she was born in 1918 or something like that, 1918 or something like that. Well, you just lost your FBA card, man. You're disqualified now, bro.
Well, my grandfather was born in 18 something. Her husband. Now, but the thing was that they give you before 1970 as well, but they don't really listen to their own rules. But also, I think that to your argument, though, I think is this JG11, but nonetheless, I think that to your argument, though. And I think I have to be real clear because they don't have one argument. Whichever way you prove a thing not to be accurate, they'll fight the other side of the argument. So as you're saying that there was a collective type of amalgamation of sorts within this term African American, people not coming here and the people did come here and accept that, kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Integrate into that. They will also say they didn't. So they say both. They fight on both sides of the argument. They will say they never said they were us. That's one of their arguments. And then the other argument is they ain't us. So it's kind of like a double bind. You can't win with you have to articulate that they say both things simultaneously. Right. So because they never want, like the brother, he's like, he didn't realize that he was like, you can't win the argument with him because they will continue. You will win the argument in real life. Hold on, JG got off? Oh man, I was waiting for JG. Never heard his voice. I was wondering if he really had a voice. But
No, you're right, Doc. I mean, culture is dynamic, man. There's no one way that this thing works. There's there's the way, and then there's the contradiction, all existing at the same time. It's dynamic. It's complex. That's how human beings are. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not even saying that, and I agree, but I do agree with that. But what I'm saying is that we got to understand that FB is tricky. When you fight one side of that argument, they'll be saying something different. So that's why I'm like, no, we got to be very specific with them, because they fight that y'all ain't black unless you. Okay, like the stupid argument. I think American Dream. Look, I know we come for American people come for American Dream, but American Dream, boy, like, although he's a conservative Thomas Sowell, American Dream is witty, boy. American Dream said something the other day, like, and I agree with him. I appreciate what American Dream, like. So he tried to what he shared with people, like, well, when they win an award, they say Jamaican. They say they black if they get locked up or something happened, or if they trying to fight and say it was a racist event. Yeah, you say you black when it's a racist event that takes place. But if you win an award, you're gonna be like, I give shout outs, like, look, people go on TV and they get awards all the time. They say, look, we from the United States, but if you're from Cali and you represent that hip hop scene, you ain't gonna be like, you might give some love East Coast, West Coast, but I'm from Oakland or I'm from wherever. You're gonna go all the way down to your neighborhood in the United States. So it's like it's practice all across the board. You know what I'm saying? When I got my PhD, what did I say? Baltimore and OYC, my neighborhood, OYC. I want you to know I'm from OYC. As a matter of fact, the hat right here. I'm from Old York and Cater. That's me representing my neighborhood. Now, it doesn't mean I don't love, the other neighborhoods in the city, but this one came through that way, and I want to give some respect to that environment. I want to put some love and share some light on the people there, and how they impacted me. So you can be proud. Hold up, JG back. Let me shut up. He has a real voice. Hold on. Peace and power.
Peace and love to you, Dr. Winker.
Is this JG11?
It's me, man. It's me.
Hold on. You sound like the brother what's the brother from Harlem, James Harlem.
I'm not him, man. It's JG. Mighty JG.
What's going on, JG? Where you calling from? Because now we know you're male. I didn't ask 1,000 times in the chat, and you never answer. But now I think, I'm assuming you're male. How do you identify?
Come on, man. I'm in Boston, so everything I speak is from real experience.
Everything you speak is from real experience?
From real experiences. I'm about peace, love, and unity.
Okay, let's talk. What's happening?
Because there's been some misconceptions. I'm anti-immigrant and anti-Pan-African, which I'm not. I'm about bringing all black people together, brother.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, I agree that I believe that you mean well, but I mean, I don't know if hold up. I mean, JG, you be doing some suspect stuff. That's all I gotta say. JG, you gotta turn your speaker down too, or something.
Hold on one second.
Cause what you got for the infamous? Come on now, cause JG be on
I was
every
gonna ask him.
I don't even know when he go to sleep.
No, I'm gonna ask him. I want him to let us know what are the black communities in Boston that have been taken over by the immigrants.
All black communities: Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan.
So it's
Even
more
when
black immigrants. So it's more black immigrants.
Well, not necessarily black immigrants. It's immigrants in general. And I'm not against immigrants. I love all people.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
we got to.
So okay, maybe I'm wording it wrong. So Dorchester is the community in Boston.
It's one of the communities.
It's one of the communities in Boston, and it is no longer dominated by African Americans.
No. Like the brother Pan-Africanism said, man, it's been happening all over the country.
Okay, so what part of that does black immigrants play? How have they pushed people out?
I never personally said black immigrants. I'm saying immigrants in general.
All right, how have immigrants in general? How have immigrants in general pushed black people out? How are they the ones harming black people? I need somebody to define that.
Well, okay, I can give you one example. When you influx a lot of Hispanic immigrants and the black communities, a lot of time they start gangs and start harming black people.
That's bullshit, man.
Now that's are you in America? Where you at, brother?
I'm in DC right now, bro, and you know that's bullshit.
I don't know about DC, but I know places I've been to is happening. And like the brother Mulatto was saying, down south is crazy.
What's the problem though? What's the problem? Like we don't like if we decide to move, we decide to move. What's the problem?
There's nothing wrong with that.
He said immigrant gangs are terrorizing black natives. That's what you're saying.
Have you seen what went on in LA, Chicago? Those are two places, for example.
So in other words,
and like I said, I'm not against anybody. I love everyone, all races.
I think we coming for JG, and he ain't even making those arguments. Some of those arguments are playing mulatto.
No, that's what you just said. Listen, the word Los Angeles is in what language, bro? The word Los Angeles is based from what language? Is that not Spanish? Is that not the Spanish that the Mexicans are speaking? Was not California and New Mexico and Colorado part of Mexico? And then, hold on. You want to point to immigrants, but you don't want to point to the white supremacists who wrote in the Constitution of California that no black person should be in this state, or the legacy of police brutality that Johnny Cochran wrote about that attack black people. Come on, bro.
KP, hold on one second. I want to make sure we even having the right argument. So, JG, do you believe that black immigrants are causing issues in our communities that they need? Are you saying that black immigrants are populating our communities and causing issues?
Black immigrants? No, not really. Like that's not really my argument.
So, what do you have an argument?
Immigration. I think immigration should be an argument.
Overall,
like the brother Pan-Africanism was saying.
Okay, so immigration in general, which is inclusive of black immigrants.
Yeah, but not just black immigrants. I don't have no beef with.
So what do you think about? What do you think that they should? What do you think? What is your position on black immigration? I mean, immigration in general, inclusive of including black people. What is your argument?
That's a good question, brother. That's a good question. I mean, I'm not against black immigrants, but immigration in general, no, I don't think it's good.
When you say it's not good, what should happen? That's what I'm asking. So the carry can come through and punch you out intellectually.
Well, for one, I think they should learn about Black American history before they come to the country. I think that'd be good. Just respecting and loving the Black natives. We could start with that.
How would they do that?
Take a Black history course. It should be taught when they come.
How would they do that?
What do you mean how would they do it?
You saying they should take a Black history? Okay, you saying they should take a Black history course before they come?
Yeah, I think that should be mandatory.
Okay. Now,
learn about Black Americans.
Okay, now here's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna give?
Wait, I got a question for y'all. Y'all okay with that? Just immigration? Is everybody coming to the country, running them all in Black neighborhoods?
No. You can't ask that question because you didn't answer it that way. That's what I'm listening to. We on the fire, but you never stated a point whether or not you are okay. Well, you said was before they come, they should learn Black history.
They should learn.
What I'm picking up from you from what you said thus far is that it's okay for them to come as long as they take a Black history class.
Yeah, just it's okay. Just don't send as many and don't pile them all up in the black community.
Hold up, don't pile them up in the black community.
No, they don't even do that.
Where should they go? Where should they go?
Send them to the white community. Send them to their people. If they Hispanic, they should go to the Spanish people.
Well, you can't go to a Hispanic community if it's a new thing.
You say you can't go to a Hispanic community if it's a new thing? Well, every major city, don't they have a Hispanic community though?
Well, every major city didn't have large Hispanic communities. More recently, Hispanics from different parts of the South are migrating to different places that they weren't historically migrating to. However, these are new communities, and in Baltimore, I'll just speak from Baltimore. They didn't really come and take over black communities. They actually took over the white communities, the Greek towns in the South, in those different places. Now, I'm not saying they didn't move to some of the black communities, but in droves, they've moved to places like what they call Fells Point, Canton, all these these places. I don't even know how they got down there because it's very expensive. First of all, but they do live together, lots of them. So what I'm saying is they haven't come to Baltimore taking over any black communities. And in fact, let me just go back to like Park Heights in Baltimore. If you ever heard of Park Heights in Baltimore, that is a Caribbean staple. Now it's still predominantly African American, but it has so much Caribbean culture throughout it, and we appreciate it. I'm talking about black Baltimoreans.
Yeah.
Hey, I still want to hear about these immigrant attacks against black natives in Boston, and Dorchester, and Roxbury.
Well, just I'm saying not Boston, but just all around the country. You hear about it.
They exist.
I never heard about that. I
mean, I think that's Kerry. I don't think that's I think that's a bad argument to kind of follow, because all he has to do is go and pull up some paper where it's a Mexican person or somebody did it, and that's what they're using. They're not utilizing saying it's disproportionate or anything. All they're saying is it happened, and that's enough for them because that's unrealistic. So I wouldn't even chase him down that rabbit hole, because the ability to look at data is crazy. It's kind of like saying, well, what they could do is say when they move in black communities that black people are attacking us, because it's not even a question. Black people are attacking Latinos, and Latinos have attacked black people, and vice versa. So it's not even that you won't find it. It's not as pervasive.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Gangs attack gangs over gang business, regardless of ethnicity.
Right.
So
now,
what they're doing is
it on the. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Again, this maybe I'm the odd man out on this, but I'm like, even if you investigate this thing, you really sitting up here trying to have a conversation about immigration and whether or not people should be allowed to come to this country because of what gang members are doing. Is that's what, like, this so-called attacks between the different communities is you're talking about gang violence. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm the odd man out, but I'm like, if
that's a scare tactic, because we got to understand that what's happening is they're listening to MAGA. This is what MAGA.
I'm not down with MAGA, man.
No. I'm not saying you down with MAGA.
In general, okay.
The people who repeat the information, these talking points come from the right wing. They do. Mm-hmm. They have. Trump has said the Haitians are killing the dogs.
They eating them.
They're eating them, and they said that these gangs are everywhere, and that's the reason why we have ICE. So what I'm saying is these are right-wing talking points, and whether or not you understand where they emanated or come from, that's a whole different thing, because you might have heard Tariq Nasheed said it, but Tariq Nasheed got it from Trump and the people like Trump, or Alex Jones and all the other crazies. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter where you got it from. The problem is you don't know where it came from, but you have and somehow allow it to plant in your head to believe that these things are more pervasive than what is usual in community. And it's not.
Let me ask JG a question. JG, so have you been attacked physically by immigrants, or has anybody
No.
you know personally been attacked to the point where they have to leave their community because of immigrants?
Oh no, that wouldn't happen to me. I mean,
How about to somebody you know personally?
no, not personally, but like I said, I'm in the news, man. I'm on a lot of channels and around the country. It's been happening, you know,
It has been happening,
especially
but
to the brothers in LA
do you think
doing
it's
white
not going to
supremacy.
happen, JG? Though, do you think it's not going to happen? Like, let's keep it real. Do you think that you're going to put groups of people together? Do you think white people are not going to attack black people?
But
no, I'm asking. Like, do you think black people are not going to attack black people? Like, you put us all together.
But
I'm just
Dr.
trying to.
Ray, we can't use that though, brother. We can't.
What do you mean we can't use that? It's a
No,
reality.
I think when you put a lot of cultures, different cultures together, that can happen.
What do you mean?
But I'm about love, man. I'm about black
Hold
love,
on. What do
man.
you
Black
mean when you
people,
put a lot of cultures together that can happen?
different
That doesn't make
cultures.
sense.
When you bring people from different cultures, stuff like that is gonna happen. You put them in poor communities, stuff like that is gonna happen.
So you're saying what? You're saying
What I'm,
different cultures because different
mhm.
cultures already
Yeah,
exist in America.
yeah, but when you put like the black community, for example, you put more poor people in other poor communities from different cultures, stuff like that happens when they
So
fighting
when
over
you
resources.
so you suggesting what they get black history lessons first?
I think so, yeah. Before immigrating, I think they should get some type of history on yeah, black Americans
All
and
right. So
the
question.
civil rights movement and stuff like that.
So you're from Boston, right? Let's go early 20th century, right? There was a small native black population in Boston, and then in the Great Migration, blacks from the South, from Alabama, Georgia, moved up that East Coast
No,
corridor and
there were
came
people
in.
already here, man.
Okay, I
I don't
acknowledge
want to
that they
hear
were
that.
there. Okay, I acknowledge that. Did you not hear what I
Brother,
just said?
man, one
I'm just
question.
saying.
Where you from,
So
brother? I've been answering everybody's questions. Where you from, brother? If you don't mind me asking, where you from?
I'm from the
No, we
United
not.
States of America.
Hold on. Look, we're not doing that on this
Come
platform,
on,
JG.
Dr. Wayne.
No.
You're not being fair,
No,
man.
we're not doing
Everybody
it to question, and we're not doing it to
I'm
other stuff. We're not doing
yeah,
it. No, that's
doc,
why I told you, man. That's what you be
doc,
wanting to win the
doc,
rich, but
doc,
then you want to
doc,
ask FBA type of
doc,
questions. Like we
doc,
look, just ask him what his ethnicity. Ask him, is he black? That's enough right there. Is he
okay,
black?
but
You black? You black? That's good.
Dr. Winkler, man, I was never going to call the brother a tether. I'm
No,
not
I'm not
against
saying
him.
you're gonna call him a
Again,
tether, but why does where he's from matter?
it was just curious. That's all. I'm
You
just
just
curious.
curious. Look, so if he say he's from, like, what is that going to make a
He could
difference?
say he's from Jamaica. He could say he's from
And then
Africa.
what?
It
And
wouldn't
then
matter.
what? And then
Just
what? We
curious.
said anchor baby.
No, I said he could say he's from Jamaica. He could say he's from Africa. I'm just curious,
Look,
brother. Just a little curious.
JG, are you joking?
I'm
You
not
know
going
it's
to
a Tariq.
disrespect,
You know it's a Tariq talking point, man.
but I wasn't doing it like that. I'm not going to disrespect.
Look. That's going to be a rule on this platform. Don't be asking people their ethnicity. I mean, only I can ask that question.
No, I was asking what a brother was from.
Because I'm coming from a poor place. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna be asking those Tariqisms over here.
If you a black man, you my brother, man.
Okay, that's what's up.
And I've been
So
trying
that's
to ask your cousin in the chat, man. That's all I say. Unity and love, man. That's what I'm
Hey,
about.
hey, JG, man, look, you sure you not James Harlem, brother?
No, absolutely not.
You got a little bit more sense than he does. You got a little more sense than he does.
I've been telling you, man. I'm about love, man.
Man, you so hey, you so about love, but you scared that the immigrants are taking over. They're eating the dogs. You remember that video? They're eating the dogs.
And that's another thing, man. I got a lot of Caribbean cousins, man. I got a lot of Caribbean cousins.
You got a lot of cats?
Caribbean cousins. I got a lot of.
But you wish they stayed in the Caribbean.
What does that mean? You got a lot of
no.
Hold up. Look. That's what KP was talking about. They used to beat you up when you was little?
Absolutely not, man. I did the bullying. I didn't get bullied. I knew
it was. See, you was a bully.
No. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
But they should go back to the Caribbean, though, right?
Have I said that? Has anyone heard me say anyone should go back? Anyone?
He sound like he had a good some weed or something because he chill for real. He is chill. He got the smooth. We got the Mace voice going on right now.
I didn't say I'm about love all black
You
people.
about love, peace, and
Unity, man. All black people.
unity. It sounds good. What
Never attack any black people. Never attack any black
Hey
group.
JG, hey JG, I'm gonna let you go. I mean, I'm gonna let us all go because I'm tired.
Okay.
But
I
what I
wanted
am
to
going to
just-
say is, but I think that Carrie asks a pivotal question, though. I think your history. No. Let me just say this. That idea about them having to learn history sounds like a straw. It sounds like something you just say because you don't. I don't. You know, it doesn't sound like you want them over here. But if they learn history, what the hell is that going to do when black people here don't know the history? Like, why don't you learn your history first before you ask them to learn your history? Like, I'm just saying, like, if you learn our history first, you probably wouldn't be saying some of these stuff that you're saying is crazy. And Tariq, pardon?
You think so?
Yeah, like not the one off the internet. Like, you need to go to Professor Shabazz's class. When you start the class, FBA rehab.
Listen, you need to go read about William Monroe Trotter from Boston. William Monroe Trotter.
Hey,
and
you
look
could put the name in the chat, man.
No, I'm telling you. William Monroe Trotter. Yes, he was a key black leader in the early 20th century from Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And he had many allies in the Caribbean communities of Boston as well. But he was Native American. His father was a Civil War hero. He fought with the 55th Infantry, the 55th Regiment in the Civil War. Go read about him and his legacy.
Okay.
Why?
Because his legacy is all about establishing Pan-Africanism, about establishing or fighting for Black nationalism. He's associated with Black radicalism. He's one of the greatest African-American leaders of all time.
So what do you think that would do for JG, though? Come on now. You're prescribing him something.
Yeah, it would give him a good model. It would give him a model to learn about.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I really want to know, like, because one thing that is a pet peeve of mine, especially with the FBAs, and I don't want us to just come across like that either. Like, we'll say do this, but not why, because FBA just be saying a bunch of stuff, and they don't even give you the context or the details or the rationale behind the thing, because there's no rationale. I know you have rationale. It's the intervention. So JG, I think Black Americans should learn proper Black American history too. But the problem that we have here is that you think that somehow that, like, do you think that's a realistic goal
for Black Americans?
That it's in legislation that they have to learn. You have to take like a Black History 101 course or something like that in Africana Studies or Black Studies class or something like that before you come to America.
We'll just be taught about Black history. But do I think that's realistic? No.
Okay, that's why, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I really do. I'm entertaining it tonight, but I don't really like entertain stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I know you don't think it's real, but you're just putting it out there. So
just saying it.
Why even talk about it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, look, y'all, look, brother, cuz we out of here. Brother Carrie is a blessing. Brother JG is 11. It's a blessing. Look, so we on up out of here, family. Brother cuz, please close us out.
Peace to everybody. Please just hit the like button, subscribe to both our channels, and stay tuned for the next time we come live, and stop falling for the FBA tricks. That's all I got.
Man,
everybody for tuning in.
Man, oh man. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate cuz you coming through, doing a thing, you know what I'm saying? Sharing with the people.
Word.
I'm gonna get this clip of the sister, right? Doctor, I can't think of her name, but clinical psychologist, young lady, and the one who I put on last week, who breaks down the debate tactics. But about the level of that therapists have for bullshit. Like, it's a like when you hear the nonsense going on, you already hear it. So like me, I'm like, I don't even know why we're having this conversation. I think, okay, one of the tactics I want to teach us.
Okay.
And it's very hard. I'm talking about to all of us, because I think we have to get skills here as we are talking to them. Sometimes some of it is for entertainment, just like let people be entertained for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But in the back of our minds, we have to always ask the question, what is the point they're trying to make? Like anytime they're saying a thing, you have to, like, they just be saying stuff. Well, in 1942, what happened? And you like, well, and then we're scaring for what happened in 1942. Like we supposed to know what happened in 1942. You don't have to know what happened in 1942. You just have to ask them, what is the relevance of the question? What are you trying to say? Don't we go down there little loopholes of answering questions? That is a debate tactic. You understand? They don't, and it doesn't have to mean anything. And people begin to think that they cooking you because they asked you a question and you don't know, or you don't know how to spell a word or something. Oh, how do you spell Eskimo? Or is Eskimo, is it really Inuit? Like, so they'll just say things to you that have not, like you have to say, so what is the importance of the question? Tell me what you're trying, what is your point here? Like JG, this whole idea, like he never said that he didn't want to be, look, he never wanted to say he's anti-immigration, but he want to ask you if you anti-immigration or you pro-immigration. That's what he asked you, but he never told you his standpoint. But what he did do when he was asked, he said, well, I think that they should learn African-American history. He still never answered the question. See, and so I don't know if it's intentional all the time, because sometimes, see what happened, they pick these things up from their daddy. They pick this thing up from MAGA daddy and FBA daddy, and they just it's embedded in their minds. It's a way to stop thinking, and then people see us engaging with them as if they said something. Like the dude, like he was so sloppy. What's his name? Like Pan-Mulatto.
Yeah,
Pan-Africanism. He goes from this to that, and I cooked you. You see, and like just because he said a thing at this point. He has said so many things, and they all have proved. Like the first thing he said today that was out of all the times I heard him say anything that was accurate, I believe in a quick search that Atlanta is no longer predominantly black. So now that is, but still, that's on the city level. But we were talking about community level. So again, you have to continue to ask the question as you're talking to these people. You got to say, so what is the point he's trying to make? And you try to really conceptualize it in your mind and say, it's making a point. So if what he says or what she says is true, then what? So like you gotta continue to ask that question. And I say that because they be having a bunch of stuff just to, I don't know what they're doing. But anyway, I'm gonna say thanks to my cuz.
Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Thanks to my cuz for coming in. That's his hook. You know what I mean? He probably like, oh, you didn't went over there and got my joint. All right, so, say it again.
No, I thought that man was in. I was like, okay.
All right, so yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna end like that, family. So until next time, family, we appreciate you. Peace and power.
Shabazz, break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know what's coming.
When you claim you're Africanist, you're going to get your mind back.
Generalized black woman is doing this and being this. That is that is irresponsible.
No,
when you claim you're Africanist, you're going to get your mind back.
Showing me,
black and proud. Claim you're Africanist, black and proud.
I think that if
as a person who has
a page,
what is the status of people with half FBA?
When you claim you're African, you're going to get your mind back.
That's why I was laughing, because I am
claim you're African.
I'm not saying the framework doesn't do a thing, but
become a part of it.
We've been
forward to black men
become a part of it.
Being in the control. We
become a part of it.
Only
embrace it.
And those one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Embrace it. When you claim you're African, you're going to get your mind back.
Mental growth takes place. You've been misled by leadership, for instance, that you can consume.
When you claim you're African, you're going to get your mind back. Black and proud. Claim your African, black and proud. I'm telling you,